Testing, testing. This shit is cute as fuck. Andrew says, testing, testing. Nothing. Oh yeah, no, that's coming through. Now we're coming through. Now we're coming through. Now we're coming through. IT Amish. Now we're coming through. ITMS. It's coming through. Audio's coming through. Also, no audio. Is the audio? No. Are we? Give me a sign. Non-verbal signs. Audio. This is audio coming through into the ears. Hello, all. Yes, Mike Lewis says yes. Okay, we hear. Okay. How would you rate it? How's that audio? Damn, that's like a good 10 minutes. And we were so late today. Oh, my God. Oh, wow. Did I say everyone is so beautiful? Everyone is a beautiful, darlings. Wow. If you're ever late as fuck with a girl, just be like, or with anyone you're dating, or with someone you love, say, wow, you look so good, though. Oh, my God. Everyone's sexy today. Jimbo, sexy. S2K, Kyle, fucking sexy, dude. Jay Gabru, sexy. Everyone's sexy today. Holy shit. Bolt. CEB Applejack, obviously. Holy shit. Already with the donos. Thanks, baby. Love you. Man, I was really, when Roberto yesterday on the podcast, when Roberto said, go dailies, I really, in my head, I was like, it must be done. Daily live rip, of course. Of course, this makes the most sense. Daily live rip. But listen, the day was hacked. I'm at my mom's house again. I just came back for a day or two, but I'm back in Toronto though. And I'm out, babies. I'm out. And I see you guys out. All guys only though. I see last week a brown guy, comes up to me at the club and he goes, hey, bro, you're doing something with CoffeeZilla or something? Like he was so excited. It's like, hey, bro, you're doing something with the CoffeeZilla? He was so happy to see me. You know what I mean? And I was like, yes, of course. Step 1, obtain girlfriend. Joshua E. Honestly, it's true. Joshua nailed it, dude. Joshua nailed it. That's source energy coming through. Yeah, I'm on the streets, dude. I'm hollering on the streets. I can't run up to girls, though. This is ridiculous. I can't do, was it a slip and dip day today? So I don't know what slip and dip. Oh, did I bang someone? No. I came back to my mom's house for a day. This weekend, though, so close. So many numbers. So many people are down, too, but yesterday when Roberto said, go do a daily, I just was like, holy shit. I was really expecting, because I know a lot of people who are not in the YouTube game, they're like, Dale, don't go daily and do short videos. Do a 10-second video. Do a 25-second video. Do a silly 25-second video. That's always been YouTube advice. Shorter. But then people who are in the game, they're like, go longer. And then they wackadoo stuff. Go every day. Yeah, well, every day we'll give the algorithm, because algorithm right now is not smiling on us. We're losing people by the hundreds. Folks, we're losing people by the hundreds. So a daily rip is just the kind of thing that can tell algorithm, don't worry, algorithm. We're very powerful. Source inside us, very powerful. And that's only that kind of faith and that kind of dedication can overcome the algorithm's doubts. Because the algorithm want to know, YouTube algorithm want to know, what will you sacrifice for God? You want to be a YouTuber famous? What will you sacrifice for God? That's what algorithm want to know. YouTube algorithm want to know. Will you give us your mental health? Time, energy, family, but your mental health, give it to us. And that's how you make the money. That's, it really is like those old movies you watch, and then like there's a great civilization, but then they have like some weird religious sect in the background that's secretly, I guess that's what the Saudis would do. Because the Saudis have their front organization, and then that's what Americans always do to Muslim countries. They always make them have like there's like a religious. They're like, give 30% to the religious people. Iran, I feel like they do that. But even Saudis, like the religious people have a say, and they get to come and tell. But anyway, that's what algorithm is. Algorithm is like almost like the fundamentalist side of YouTube, because it's all just these goofballs, nerds, numbers by the numbers kind of guys, And then when people ask him like, what goes viral and what's doing really well, it's like, listen, I the algorithm, it picks and chooses, and sometimes God is great, and sometimes you say, wow, now Trump's president, and that's fine. But the algorithm, it has a wisdom, and it dances with the community, and it puts the right person on top, and that's all I can say about it. I really don't know. CB Applejack says, seriously though, putting me in your short got me some fans. Seriously, putting me in your short got me some fans. Someone noticed, someone subscribed to me, and I don't even have videos. CB Applejack 59. Damn. Wow. Mike Lewis says, feeding algorithm. Yes, you have to feed algorithm, brother. Fern, every cult must make sacrifice a virtue. Wow. But yeah, no, I'm in Toronto most of the days. Shalom, peace, and blessings upon you all. God is great. In these times, with this World War III talk going on, that's a lot. Honestly, I could have gone earlier. I was doing a little doom scroll, if I'm being totally honest. We got to do a Ukraine episode in the next day or two, because this shit is whack. It's too much. It is, as a loving kindness coach, I have to say some words on the issue, of course. As a loving kindness meditation coach, it is my job to say, let's bring this together, people. Enough, no fighting. We shouldn't be fighting, not the whole world, not with nuclear weapons. Some people are wild though. On the American, I'd say more on, no, Russian side too, but American side too. There's some like pretty high up people in the government saying like, don't worry about nukes. Don't be a pussy about the nukes. That's all Russia. Talkity talk. Don't worry about nukes. Why go in that direction? What about in the direction of, can someone sit them two down? Biden, Putin, sit down, have a talk, have a chat, love each other, recognize the humanity in each other and each other's people. Anyway, we'll have a Putin episode. We'll have an episode. We'll do an episode. I have a lot to say on that. Lots to say. Especially as a meditation coach, it is a step in the wrong direction as far as raising to loving kindness, which is what we're supposed to be doing here, people. We're supposed to be raising the vibration, not going to war with each other. So that is a big mistake, and someone needs to, we're going to figure it out. We are going to figure it out, but I'm going to put on some music, actually. I might have to switch out of this StreamYard. What the hell was that with the audio, right? Listen, I know you're looking at me like I screwed up the audio there. That was all StreamYard. Let me tell you something. That was all StreamYard did for 10 minutes of the show, because StreamYard. But I want to tell you guys about a show I did on Sunday. Banger show. Putin has an episode every day. Good one, brother. Good one, brother. Meanwhile, U.S. is still occupies Syria. Oh yeah. See, honestly, it hurts. It's their foreign policy. I mean, I've been saying it for years. I've been saying it on this channel for years. I just saw a great video, actually. I just saw a great video by this guy, John Mearsheimer, University of Chicago. So an American thinker, not some outsider saying America did this and that. An American thinker, and he actually has a great video called, I'll tell you what it's called. It's called Why Ukraine is the West. But yeah, it's a great video.
As a result.
Great video. Lots to talk about there, though. No, honestly, we got to do a separate episode about that. Putin is the leader of the free world. Have respect! Already? Last time Abdul did a joke about setting your Tinder location to Ukraine. Already? Give it a week. Let's give it a week before we say Putin is the leader of the free world. Meanwhile, Yemen just got bombed again yesterday. Man, Yemen, they just don't care. That's, you know what? That's really at the heart of the issue, is that Russia really is like just going into it, and we're going to lose people. We're going to lose a lot of people here. But going into it, Russia is seen as like a second-class citizen from Europe and the West. So they have one set of rules for themselves, and then Russia, it's like, but yeah, what they did is awful, though. I mean, this is a lot. The multi-pronged attack onto Ukraine, that's a lot. It's rude. It's too much. It's a lot of fighting. But let me show you this guy, because I think this is, you know, it's you got to get all the perspectives. You got to get all the angles. Okay, don't be one of these people that you only hear one thing. Listen to this guy. So this guy, John Mearsheimer, University of Chicago. So one of your Gurujis only, an American Guruji only. I'm not showing you a Guruji from India. I'm not showing you a Guruji from China. One in University of Chicago, one of your Gurujis only, one of your own professors only, and he has a video called "Why Is Ukraine the West's Fault?" John Mearsheimer. So let's watch a little bit of this. I think this is a good place.
NATO expansion took place in two tranches. The first one was in 1999. That's when you get Poland, the Czech Republic, and Hungary incorporated into NATO. The second big tranche was in 2004. And that's when the Baltic states, you can see Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania up top, Romania, Bulgaria, these are the light brown countries. That's the second tranche of NATO expansion.
Do you see what these military people do? Behind our backs, when we're not really paying attention, we're not really looking, they're doing this shenanigans. I'm not saying it's okay what Putin did, but this shenanigans, this is very disrespectful, and it's very rude. And they do it behind our back. This is how World War I was started. Even World War I, when they started, the kings, queens, they said, "Ooh, fighting!" They didn't want to. They don't know fighting. They're crazy. They're like, they would never. It's the military people playing with these like contracts, these treaties, and being like, okay, well, if they go, then we get to go. And they're looking. Military people are always looking. And that's what NATO's, yeah, I mean, expanding in, moving in on the territory. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm not saying he's not awful for doing it, multi-pronged attack, but like NATO, come on. US military, like, I mean, you gotta, they don't even see it. They just don't, they just say, oh, Putin's evil. Oh my God, he's evil. Wow, how did he become so evil? Evil, evil, evil.
Expansion. Now, the Soviets made it clear from the mid-1990s they were adamantly opposed to NATO expansion. But
Your own Guruji, this John Mearsheimer, not a leftist, not a anything like this.
number one, they were too weak to do anything about it. And two, it didn't involve the states that were right on their border. I mean, there's no question, as you can see from the map, that Latvia and Estonia are on Russia's border, and Lithuania as well, if you want to include that little enclave between Poland and Lithuania. But the fact is, these were very small states. It was early in the game, and Russians were willing to live with it. But then the big trouble starts. And it comes in the famous Bucharest summit, NATO's Bucharest summit in April 2008, where at the end of the summit, a declaration is issued which says, NATO welcomes Ukraine's and Georgia's Euro-Atlantic aspirations for membership in NATO. We agree today that these countries will become members of NATO. So the Russians made this perfectly clear.
David, I see your comment. That's very interesting. We'll talk in a second.
This was unacceptable. Russia's deputy foreign minister said, Georgia's and Ukraine's membership in the alliance is a huge strategic mistake, which will have most serious consequences for pan-European security. Putin himself said, Georgia and Ukraine becoming part of NATO is a direct...
By the way, this video, it's like 6 years ago. This isn't even now. This is how much they've been moving in on this territory. And I'm pretty sure that as they pull people into their NATO alliance, they're allowed to put nukes on their land. So that's, come on, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Regardless, what's all this Putin, like you can say Putin is evil all day, but you know, right. You could see evil, but let me show you what I see. I actually have another great clip of Putin. I don't even know. The thing is,
you won't see this.
Let me show you this real quick, and then we're going to come back to this video. But hold on, where did it go? StreamYard, because I know we're getting a lot of evil. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, let's keep this going.
to Russia. You all remember that there was a war between Russia and Georgia in August 2008? That war was a consequence of this, because the Georgians thought we were sending them a signal that they could get uppity with the Russians and we would back them because they were going to become part of NATO. That's not what happened. And you know what happened? The Russians clobbered the Georgians, and Georgia is in deep trouble today because it thought it could become part of NATO. So you remember that?
Right. So this is the other thing, right, with NATO, is that they're doing these little, hey, yoo-hoo, shaking their ass like a fucking whore in front of Georgia, Ukraine, in front of Georgia. Georgia's getting all excited. And in the end, it's not even for sale. Okay. Like, what are we doing here, people? Doesn't make any sense. But you know what it is? It does make sense because that's NATO's mentality. Because the Russians have tried to join NATO. They asked. And that's what I find unacceptable about the whole thing, is that once they are, like, first of all, World War II, a lot of their people died for, they did good on that for us. We should all be friends. But they're communists. Okay, fine. Then they dropped the communism. Why is there still a NATO? This is what people aren't talking about enough. Because it is a very Western-centric mentality. The Western-centric mentality is Europe and the West is number one. Russia, that's why they don't even call it Europe. Why is Russia Asia? It doesn't make any sense. Why is Russia Asia? That is just old world racism, basically. It's basically the Europeans saying you are, and that's passing on. And if you have a feeling in your heart, like I do too a little bit, where I'm feeling, because we are a vassal state of the American empire, right? Like as a Canadian, we're just like a little crown jewel of the Americans. I guess Britain would be a crown jewel, but like we're just one of the, we're extended empire, right? Like we're like one of the vassal states. It's great. Love it. It's great. Love it. We're here, very supportive. For the good of America too, though, you got to watch these people going behind your back almost and doing these moves. Like this is very aggressive posturing to Russia, and there's no reason to do it. And in the end, they didn't even back Georgia with anything. So they did all this talking, they did all this agitating, and in the end, the people of Georgia suffered. And in the end, the people of Ukraine, now they're in a tough spot because we're in a spot now where it's like start World War III or you just teased Ukraine too, like a little fucking whore. Not a whore, actually, because they would have just paid. They would have said, this is the price and done it. You're not even a whore because you're just shaking your ass in front of these people for what? Putin said, just keep a buffer state. Let's not be right up against each other with nukes. And imagine Putin's over there too. That's the crazy thing. You know what I mean? Like you can't even imagine it.
April 2008 summit, very important. That declaration, very important. And then what happens? You have a war. So those are the deep causes, those three strategies: NATO expansion, EU expansion, and promoting democracy. What about the precipitating cause? Key events leading up to the coup. It's the coup of February 22nd, 2014. It's enormous importance. That's what really throws the crisis into gear. Just think about that word coup. Orange Revolution, promoting democracy, the coup of February 22nd, 2014. So the question is, what causes the coup? It all starts in November of 2013. At that point, Yanukovych, President Yanukovych, who's the head of Ukraine, is negotiating with the EU to form an association agreement that brings the EU and Ukraine much closer together. It's a step in the direction.
Let's get the wrap up. This is good.
You want NATO to include France, Germany, and Poland.
This is very reasonable. This is very reasonable, and this was the
You
deal.
want Ukraine as a buffer state, and then you want Russia on the eastern flank of that border state. And this is not what you want. You do not want a divided Ukraine, where Western Ukraine is in NATO, Eastern Ukraine is in Russia, and the Russians and the Americans hate each other at that point, eyeball to eyeball on the Dnieper River. Not a good idea. How do you get to this end? Very simple. Explicitly abandon NATO expansion. By the way, NATO expansion is dead. I've talked to countless policymakers who say it's dead. But what we have to do is explicitly abandon it. Say it is not happening. We have fashion it.
It's dead in the sense that they're just there causing shit, stirring the pot. But at the end of the day, just like with Georgia, they couldn't actually go in and help. And just like with Ukraine, they can't go in to help. It's mostly Democrats saying it. It's so weird that the left is pushing for this war right now because it is like both sides have nukes. So really America can't join. But when I saw the column of cars coming in from Russia, though, it's 40 miles long. It's a lot. Like, I really like the positivity on the Ukrainian side. Obviously, I'm with the Ukrainian people on this. It's like, it's a terrible thing to do, what the Russians are doing. I'm on their side. But when I saw that 40-mile line of cars, I'm just strategizing. I'm like, just, you got to drop a bomb, like 200 meters in, you drop one bomb, and every 200 meters, just bomb, bomb, bomb. And then the whole thing's broken. Then you can maybe even run up on them. I mean, that's it. And those bombs need to hit now. Like right now, they need to hit. But that's also wrong. That's like wrong, though. Don't think like that. You can't, because that's full-scale war. Two major powers going to war, nuclear weapons. And we always think, like, there's even people in US government saying, like, oh, they're not going to use the nukes. That's how we think they're not going to use the nukes. But you got to understand, like, this happens with India and Pakistan too. But also, I've heard, like, in Russia, they say stuff like this. And even in America, they almost have a mentality of like, well, if all of us are going to die, we got to take them too. Like, the average person does not think like that. I'm going to turn that one off. The average person does not think like that. But military people are kind of like that. Not all, but a lot of military people think like that, I'm saying. There are people like that. There's people that are pushing for war right now. But I do feel like it's, you know, it's like trauma, you know, like they've been, as a country, we've been really just so mean to them. And okay, fine, they're communists, like you don't like the communist thing, whatever, but it's also not your, oh, here's the other clip I want to show you. Here's the thing. I can't even tell if this is actually, I don't know what he's saying. Like they just put the titles on it. But listen, I was thinking about that. I was like, do I call Tom Nash and say, hey, bro, is this actually what he's saying? Because I don't know the language. Can you guys see this though? Hold up. He's sick. Okay, perfect. Wow, this is great. I got to turn this around so I'm looking at it. And all of you beautiful babies. Okay, hold up. Okay, listen to this. This is the thing. Putin's evil, Putin's evil, Putin's evil. I'm not saying he's terrible what he did. It's terrible what he did. But the problem with just saying evil, evil, evil is that you can't rationally look at a situation and say, what's the best kind of move forward, you know? Also, according to my Buddhist teachings that I am now very much, I study loving kindness according to my teachings. Sorry, hands are tied. Buddha, hands are tied. But according to the teachings that I am now studying, there is no evil, only ignorance. And that sentiment is also echoed by Jesus. And it's also actually, I think the actual line itself is actually from this book, Course in Miracles, Gray. This is the moral compass that the West needs, I think. Marianne Williamson teaches it. And that's why I think she should be the next president. Marianne Williamson teaches Course in Miracles. Yep. And they teach that. There is no evil, only ignorance. Of course. Of course. It's a mistake. You know what I mean? Like, it's just more efficient to think like that. If you just start saying evil, 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 like, you're never going to fix anything. You're never going to actually, like, they need to sit down and talk to each other right now. You know, more than anything. They need to sit down and talk. And here, let me play this.
In Western
This is a evil, evil, evil. I'll tell you what I see after we play this.
media,
Никогда не говорил публично. Скажу об этом впервые. В 2000 году, во время визита в Москву уходящего со своей должности президента США Билла Клинтона, я спросил его, а как Америка отнесется к тому, чтобы принять Россию в НАТО? Не буду раскрывать все подробности этой беседы. Но реакция на мой вопрос внешне выглядела, скажем так, весьма сдержанной. А как американцы реально отнеслись к этой возможности, фактически видно на их практических шагах в отношении нашей страны. Так и хочется спросить, зачем? Зачем все это? Ради чего? Ну ладно, не хотите видеть в нашем лице друга и союзника, но зачем же делать из нас врага?
But why make an enemy out of us? But why make an enemy out of us? That. Applejack, come on, Applejack. Don't do this to me right now. You got to tell us right now, Applejack. No, now's the time. Now's the time. Listen, even Crystal was saying it. Crystal and Sagar from Breaking Points. The first day, Crystal and Sagar have been absolutely anti-war. Jimmy Dore has also been absolutely anti-war. But the first day she was saying too that, like, Putin, I guess he's evil. I guess he's just a nationalist and evil, and he's just an evil dictator. I mean, look, you could do whatever you want. You don't have, like, I'm just saying, if you think of him like that, you're not going to get to the bottom of this. You just cut any possibility of like resolving this in a peaceful way. Because if it's evil, then that's it. Evil means next step war. And war means like nuclear war. So, yeah, you know. And when people say evil, 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 the thing about evil, just like in the Pixar movies, evil is, it really is it's an illusion, and the illusion is like they forgot that people love them. And this is such a example of them feeling like you see evil, evil, evil. You know what I see? I see a dude talking to another dude saying, "Hey man, can I be in your NATO club? Can I join? We did good. We did good in World War II, right? We did pretty good. We're not communists anymore. Can we join? Can we be in your club? Hey, you know how you have a club that's about like attacking us, like making sure we don't. Well, let's. And the thing is, they've asked. The Russians have asked to join, and if they asked and the NATO has said no, this is casually. He's talking about him and Bill Clinton. By the way, I really hope that what he said in Russian was actually what it says in English. Listen, I got it from YouTube Shorts, but listen to this. Why is Bill Clinton even like? You are the president of the United States, and Bill Clinton, he probably wants to do something like that. He is a peaceful kind of guy. You know, he is a loving kind of, you know, even though all the bunch of scandals came out on him, but he was always like, hey, everyone, just come on, man. Let's hang out. Let's have a good time, man. You know, like that's what he was into that. That's why all the sex scandals too, because he really wanted love. He didn't have that like hurting people thing, even though he did in the end with, I guess with women. I don't know all the details of the stuff that came out on him, but you know, he might have been aggressive with some women, but overall, he had more of like, even I think the one time he did go to war, he went to war to cover up the fact that he was banging this 21-year-old, or like sex scandals like crazy were coming out about him. So he really was just in a loving, he had that kind of mentality, I feel like. And Putin says, hey man, hey, can we be in your NATO club? We did good. We did pretty good World War II. We're here. We haven't even, like, they don't leave. America has bases all over the world. They don't leave their area. But this is our Eurocentric view. Like, we see them as animals. And, you know, in a way, we are on the American team. So we are all, like, whether we like it or not, the way the world's going to divide up, it's going to be them against us. So I'm here with you. And I'm saying this as someone on your team that, like, we should really watch these NATO people, man. What are they doing? And I'm not the only one saying it. John Mersheimer's saying it too. There's no reason for them. It's just a bunch of people that like are making up excuses to have a job. But I know it just sounds crazy. Well, they're adults. They know. They must know what they're doing. Just got here. Are we chatting with the guest? Hohenheim. No, but Hohenheim, I'm going to play your trailer today, actually. Thanks for coming, baby. Turnips. Zaidmir, Russia has signed deal with Raid Shadow Legends. They will now sponsor this war. Zaid, 1 week, and then you do your Russia jokes after 1 week. Sarah, everyone made fun of people warning and cried Russiagate. Yeah, man, Russiagate. See, this is the other way that it's politicized in America, because now the Democrats are the ones who hate the Russians now. What the fuck? And the Republicans are like, hey, it's over. It's so crazy. This is, you know, I mean, let's hope we're not going into another era of war. Here, let's play another clip, actually. There's another great Putin clip, and I really hope. Nope, wrong clip. Hold on. I got a clip. Here we go. This is a nice one. This is a nice one that's going to... Honestly, like, are we getting media that makes him look more evil? Like, do you guys feel that with the Putin a little bit? Because when he just said, like, you know, I asked Bill Clinton, like, hey, can we join NATO? And he said no. And then I said, oh, so you don't want to be my friend or my ally? What did we do? What did we do that's worse than what you guys do? I mean, that's a fair question too, isn't it? Here, let me play another clip, though. Here we go.
Если Украина будет в НАТО и военным путем будет
Oh, sorry,
возвращать...
sorry, let's go back.
А под каким предлогом вошли в Ирак? Разработка оружия массового уничтожения в Ираке. Зашли, страну разрушили, создали очаг международного терроризма, а потом выяснилось, что ошиблись. Потом сказали, нас разведка подвела. Ничего себе. Страну разрушили страну,
Wow.
разведка подвела. И все. И все объяснение. Политики самих Соединенных Штатов в том,
Right? What's wrong there? What's wrong there? Not wrong. They're always looking for excuses. See, Applejack, if Marianne Williams is pushing for war, I'm going to be very upset. I'm going to look that up now. Can you send a link, honestly? Hohenheim, send a link to your
самую
thing
жесткую
to Bolt.
политику в защиту своих собственных интересов, так как понимают это американские руководители, проводят именно Соединенные Штаты. Причем из года в год. Наших войск за границей...
Bolt, great question. I will answer it momentarily. Let's continue this because I have the exact solution for that. Let's continue this.
Практически российские. Американские войска везде за границей, везде во всем мире американские военные базы. И они везде принимают участие в решении судеб других народов, находясь за тысячи километров от своей собственной границы. Поэтому упрекать нас в том, что мы что-то нарушаем, мы по сравнению...
Thanks, Bob. Amish, my daughter loves Dino Dana. I thought I was going to say, Amish, my daughter is stuck in Ukraine right now, you piece of shit. How dare you play this video? I thought, I don't know why my brain, because it's very tense right now. So my brain was going there. But I just want to say, like, I am with the people of Ukraine. What he's doing is wrong. Obviously, it's terrible what he's doing. To come in on multi-front war like this, it's terrible. But NATO is, all I'm saying is, NATO has been stirring this pot for 50 years now. Going into Georgia, going into Ukraine, shaking their ass. Even though there's no, they don't come back. They're not going to bang them. You know what I mean? And I can't believe Zelensky. First of all, I can't believe Zelensky was a comedian. Can you believe the prime minister of Ukraine was a comedian? I'm not joking. This is insane. This is another guy. This is like Doc Adam doing what we do, plus the doctor. This guy, Zelensky, famous comedian, then go, prime minister now. He is the prime minister now. That is insane. He has like good, funny clips too. But let's continue this. Thank you for watching Dino Dana.
Мы же двигаемся к НАТО, а НАТО двигается к нам. Поэтому говорить о том, что Россия ведет себя агрессивно, по меньшей мере не соответствует здравой логике. Мы что ли пришли на границу куда-то? К нам же подошла инфраструктура. Я говорил, но... Мне очень бы хотелось, чтобы вы меня услышали все-таки в конце концов. И донесли это до своих читателей, зрителей и пользователей в интернете. Но вы понимаете или нет, что если Украина будет в НАТО и военным путем будет возвращать себе Крым, европейские страны автоматически будут втянуты в военный конфликт с Россией. Конечно...
Okay, see, now he sounds like a jerk. Now he's being mean. Like, he's just talking shit. He's like, do you know that if they take a step into Ukraine, did you know that all of Europe will have to come after me? Wow, is that what he's saying?
Значит, потенциал объединенной организации НАТО и России несопоставим. Мы понимаем. Но мы также и понимаем, что Россия одна из ведущих ядерных держав. По некоторым компонентам по современности даже многих опережает. Победителей не будет. И вы окажетесь втянутыми в этот конфликт помимо своей воли.
Wow.
Вы даже не успеете глазом моргнуть, когда будете исполнять пункт 5 Римского договора. Господин президент, конечно, не хочет этого развития. И я не хочу. И я не хочу. Поэтому он здесь и находится, и мучает меня уже 6 часов подряд вопросами, гарантиями, вариантами решения. Но я считаю, что это благородная миссия. И благодарен ему за то, что он предпринимает такие усилия. Со своей стороны будем делать все для того, чтобы найти вот эти компромиссы, которые все говорят о гарантиях безопасности с нашей стороны. А кто нам предоставит гарантии безопасности?
I mean, I know it's a bummer. It's a bummer. It's a bum bum. It's a bum bum poopy bum. It's a big old poopy bum. Remove you, Putin. You big Mino, Cabino. Leah, he has the mentality of a 3-year-old. So I think he can't have it. He'll nuke it so no one can have it. Yeah, no, that's what people do. You know, like that's what these people do. India, Pakistan, same thing. We think on the ground that everyone's just going to be rational, but he's saying it like that over there. There's Americans, I feel like, saying the same thing though. I mean, there's Democrats, and they're Democrats. That's the crazy thing. There's Democrats saying like he's not going to do it, or there's Democrats saying like, listen, man, just go to war with. No, the Democrats are not saying who cares about nukes. They're saying don't worry about nukes, just go to war with him. Do the no-fly zone. But I'll tell you what the solution is. Okay, so Bolt had a great question. Okay, Mish, so what it is, what is the past? What do we do now? I can tell you exactly what we do now. Biden has to pick up the phone and call Putin and first and foremost say, I disagree with what you're doing, but you are a child of the Most High God. And we have to learn to love each other and come to a resolution on this. And you did a real good job in World War II. And we never said thank you for that. We all would have been goddamn Nazis without your efforts. Thank you. And NATO's been moving in on you. They sneaky little shits. They just move around behind our backs. But actually, I think Biden was involved in it, so you can't even say that. Behind the Republicans' backs a little bit. Not really, though. I mean, they're just really behind our backs as the people. You're paying your taxes. You're an American citizen. You're paying your taxes. And then the rest of us living in your empire, we are also contributing to your economy and being in your economy. And it's like we have to sign up for these fucking wars. Like we have to sign up for, okay, you have a whole department of people in Europe doing this NATO nonsense. When they dropped the Soviet curtain, when the Cold War ended, they went home. They stopped. And you guys kept going. And there's really significant military issues with this. NATO is not some, because EU is one thing. If it was just the EU, I'd say, yeah. And luckily, Zelensky, Zelensky, the prime minister of Ukraine, he sent a letter, an application to the EU. And that's a real fuck you to Putin, because a lot of people would maybe concede and say, okay, I won't flirt with them anymore. You know what I mean? Like what Putin wanted from them, from Ukraine, is for Ukraine to say, hey, NATO's been coming around here acting like a fucking whore, even though the goods aren't for sale. They're just coming around here shaking that ass. But in the end, they're not even going to help us. You know? But he actually sent an application. So he wants to join the UN. Maybe the EU. But NATO is a military alliance. So, you know, these aren't just meaningless things. I mean, it's very much like, the more you have in NATO, the further up your troops can go. And whether they go into a full-scale conflict or not, Trump was trying to get these other NATO countries to spend more on military. They're supposed to spend like 2% of their GDPs on military. Nobody was spending it. Germany, for the first time since World War II or whatever, they're going to spend more than 2% on their military for the first time in forever. So many countries. Oh my God, how did I miss this? Sarah, thank you so much. Wow, Sarah, you donated 1111? Wait, that was 3 minutes ago. Please check out the book, Oh Tyranny by Tom Snyder. There's even a picture version of the book that explains for people who are not into reading, but it's a thin book that explains everything. Thank you. Sarah, wow, you know me so well, eh? Hey, if you're too stupid to read, they got a picture book for you. On Tyranny, let's check it out. Let's check out On Tyranny photos. This will be tight. Guaranteed this will be tight. No, you got to look at this stuff. People are so willing to just ignore it, I feel like, you know, because we're living good over here. Sarah, thank you so much. $20, damn. Appreciate you. Man, I really got to figure out this music. I have to turn it off every time I share something with you. Unless I do entire screen, but then there's no audio share. Okay, then we do this, and then we do on tyranny. Wow. Illustrated by Nora Krug. I guess we can't just look at the pictures. That would be rude. Wow. Okay. Okay, let's read this. How can I make this bigger? Okay. For violence to okay, I gotta turn this down. This is gonna be super tight, or it's gonna be, who knows? You just know, we gotta take a risk. We gotta rip and dip. For violence to transform not just the atmosphere, but also the system, the emotions of rallies and the ideology of exclusion have to be incorporated into the training of armed guards. These first challenge the police and military, then penetrate the police and military, and finally transform the police and military. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I mean, it really transforms a society. You know what I mean? Like, this is generational trauma we're dealing with here with Russia. It's been generations of, you know, of this like second-class treatment from Europe, this weird kind of exclusion. And it's really like, it's so weird because they officially have asked, like, it's not just Putin saying in conversation to Bill Clinton, like, they've officially asked, like, can we not, like, hey, it's over, right? Like, can we just join? Can we join this NATO thing? They can't join because, you know, and this is kind of what they're saying on that, is that, like, the thing about military people is that they just like to fight. Like, it's almost part of their training. Jocko talks about this in his book, and Jocko was like one of the military leaders in Iraq War. But they're part of their mentality, part of their philosophy, part of their core training, and this gets brainwashed into military people when they're 18 years old, whatever, 20 years old, whenever they get to join. This gets brainwashed in. And what gets brainwashed in is you have to proactively engage the enemy. And so, and you have to look for enemies. So what happens is you almost project animosity onto people. Like this slow movement over to Russia, instead of making a North American treaty, whatever military alliance, what if they made Russia-America friendship alliance? And they spent the time on that. They could have done that, but the military mentality is, let's look for another fight. Let's get the next enemy. Let's go after them, go on the offensive proactively. And even one of the justifications that he says in that Jocko says in his book, Extreme Ownership, or I think it's called, one of the things he says in it is that you have to engage the enemy just to make sure that your troops are tight, just to make sure your troops know how to use the tanks, the cannons, they know what they're doing, the guns. Like, it's not easy. They need to keep training. They need to keep working on it. So you have to always be engaging the enemy. You know, and that's how they think. They're mean. They're like, they are kind of like the bullies of our society. That's their job. That's their official job. And that's why you need them on the border in case someone attacks us. The problem is, if no one's attacking you, they'll go and attack. And whoever lives around them, they're going to be abusive to them too. There's going to be issues there too, I feel like. You know what I'm saying? Because it does traumatize them. Fighting does, it is a form of trauma. It creates this, like I said, there's no evil, only ignorance. So it almost creates that ignorance in them. It's kind of like in Princess Mononoke. Remember in Princess Mononoke when the pig people, the pig people, they were warring for so long that at one point at the end they said, fighting makes us stupid. And after generations of fighting, we don't know what we're doing anymore. So this Tuesday we're ending it all. And they basically do a suicide attack. Princess Mononoke, one of the best movies. Let's watch the trailer. Can we watch the trailer for Princess Mononoke? Can we just, how come if I was in America, I could just do a reaction video on stuff? Over here, it's like the Boers or something. Oh, there's so many videos on Princess Mononoke. Let's share. Let's share it. There should be, you know, NATO should have disbanded when they dropped communism. You know, I mean, come on, what do you want? It should be a America-Russia Friendship Organization. ARFF. Oh, ARFO. ERFO, US Russia besties for life. And then you could make like a sister organization, sister cities. You can create a sister cities program. Yeah. And then, like once a month, there's a sister city day. And the sister cities do a thing for each other. They do maybe like a Zoom call in. They say, hey, Baltimore, I'm here in Chichniev, whatever. I don't know. Like today we prepared a traditional dance and then those guys do a thing. That's what it should be. Not military troops, not, this kind of aggressive fighting or, not, I'm going to move my nukes onto this land. Why work on hate when you can work on love, right? I mean, makes sense. Well, let me see the Boers. Let's watch the trailer. Will I get copyright strikes for this?
In a time when gods walk the earth, an epic battle rages between the encroaching civilization of man and the gods of the forest.
It's basically a war. Like the whole thing is like, apparently this Princess Mononoke is supposed to be a metaphor for the Iraq war. And it was him saying like, the Iraq war is basically saying it's unnatural. It's unnatural to fight. It's not good for society to put so much resources on this and to spend all their time doing this. Logan, Putin is stupid. He's a WEF puppet. Logan, I don't know your conspiracies, pal. One of the best anime films right next to Grave of the Fireflies for me. Yeah. Yo, Hohenheim. Damn, yo, you got to send me the name of your thing again. We'll watch it after this. Eurfafel? I don't know what that means. Tony Detienne. What do you think about the Ukraine fake news that's coming out? I know you watched Jimmy Dore's latest episodes. Sorry if you already talked about it. I was dripping late. Baby, I'm dripping late. I did watch that. And like, look, man, Tony, people are going to make propaganda like that. Tony's referring to a piece. I did watch that actually. So there is a lot of fake social media videos coming out. Like some of it is just like, it'll be footage of a building exploding in Gaza in 2010. And someone's just posting and saying, look what Putin's doing to Ukraine or something like that. So like they're putting it up as this like, I guess, anti-Putin propaganda, like there is a lot. Yeah, no, I mean, listen, man, Zelensky's a comedian apparently. So his social media game is going to be tight. So I think Zelensky could be just, he could be just on that game. He could be on top of it like that. Who knows? But because you got to do everything, right? Like when you're being attacked by multi-fronts and you're the smaller power, you got to be on top of the free shit. And it could, so it could be, but it also could just be people doing that. Like that's the problem with those fake, like whatever. You can't, like when I watched the Jimmy Dore piece on it about all the fake little bits of social media content that are going viral about the Ukraine war. All of those, like there's like 10 of them. There's so many of them. There's like, I've seen, I even saw on The Hill, they did a talk about it too. And they showed like 5 of them. They're so interesting. They're crazy, like footage, whatever. But they're all different places actually. One of them's from China. One of them's from like, I think Gaza. One of them's from like Syria 5 years ago, like 2 years ago. So they're just like from other places, but they're being put up as like, look what's happening to Ukraine. I mean, you just can't control that, Like she was saying that on the Russian side, they're getting just as much shit, They're just, you can't control social media, man. You just can't control it. Even the people at YouTube, there's all these math nerds. They can figure out the math. They can figure out this, that, whatever. Can they just come out and make a hit YouTube channel? No, because only algorithm. No. Algorithm is all powerful. Algorithm. So they have no idea what the hell's going on. I mean, we have no idea. Like, I mean, someone just made clips and put them up. There's nothing you can do about it. I think what's going to happen though, this is our first, like, I guess, like violent conflict that everyone cares about, because there's already been a bunch of comments about this, and it's so true. And I can feel the insult of this, but basically, like, Yemen is being bombed. Syria they've been bombing Syria all this time. This is all like, and this is what I mean about like where I feel like there's some NATO shenanigans here. This gets top priority because this is one of those things that, like, because here's the thing, right? In Yemen, in Syria, whatever, the American action that's happening there right now, because I mean, not an American action, but like the fact that there's bombing and stuff like that going on over there, it's not in anyone's interest for us to know about that. You know, and I know that sounds conspiracy, but that's kind of what I think about that too. It's like it's not in anyone's interest for us to really know about that, so nobody really talks about that. Ukraine, the problem with Ukraine is that because of the situation that it is, because like NATO's here and whatever, it's Putin and it's like it's like the biggest power in America. Because of that situation, it is in a lot of people's interest that we all start telling everyone that Putin's evil, because then we can go to full-scale war. Like, you know what I mean? Like, whereas Syria is like a clandestine war, so nobody wants you to know about that, including the people doing it. And then Yemen is another one of those things that, like, yeah, it's just not, unfortunately, like, until it's in a rich person's, until it's in, like, and that's the problem with the military industrial complex. It is in their interest for us to know about this a little bit, because there are people in America that are saying, let's go to war. They want airstrikes, basically. They want to take over the airspace over Ukraine. And if they do that, then it's full-scale war. And not a single one of those people is doing the solution that I have already said here on the drip. And that solution is, Biden, you call Putin and say, hey, baby, what you did is wrong. Still, you are a child of the Most High God. And so am I, and we are in charge of millions of more. So nukes are not an option, and really us two going to war is not an option. So we need to just drop what we're doing, have a conversation, and just talk about it. And again, the couple of things that Biden has to say in that conversation is Biden has to say, hey, sorry for not letting you into NATO. You know, you've been asking, and we just won't let you in. And NATO is a military treaty organization built to encroach upon you. So sorry about that. Also, you did a great job in World War II, and we never thanked you for that. Thank you for all of us not being Nazis. Thank you. So say that, then start the conversation, and that's it. But Biden wants war. CEB Applejack. Okay, one of the things that I just realized before we started going live is that Biden was doing a little State of the Union. So in that State of the Union, are you saying CEB Applejack 59? Are you saying, Applejack, you already said that Marianne Williamson wants to go to war. No? Marianne Williamson wants to go to war and Biden wants to go to war? The wannabe war takes off the COVID as they pull back mandates. The wannabe war. Tony Detienne. Interesting. Hunter was on the board of Burisma. Biden also held back the Maidan coup. Yeah, that's the thing. Oh, man, these Democrats, they're deep in this NATO shit. Like, they're so deep in that Biden's son was working at some energy board in Ukraine. That's how deep in they are. And earlier, I showed a clip from a lecture from one of your American Gurujis, professor at, I think he's a professor at University of Chicago, John Mersheimer. He has a video that's called Why Ukraine is the West's Fault. And in that, he also shows, you know, a lot of their involvement. For 6 years now, Putin's been saying, like, hey, don't do this. You know, like, we're both nuclear powers and we don't want to go to a fight, you know. Honestly, the clips that I showed here today, they make Putin, to me, look like they make him look like a sweetie baby. I'm sorry. I almost don't want to show it again. I mean, there is a little blustering. Wow, we're jumping all over the place here. But you know what? This is what happens. You know, you just get passionate. You get emotional. Oh, video. What? Oh my God. What the hell do I? Okay, here we go. No, we got to do window. Window. Got it. Forget it. Got it. StreamYard. Got it. Figured it out. I got to go back to Zoom. Honestly, Zoom might be way easier. Let's go there. Let's go there. Okay. Again, I support the people of Ukraine. I think what he did is very evil, very awful thing that he's doing right now. But that being said, no, let's go this one. This one? This one? Weird. That makes sense, actually. Let's keep me bigger than Putin.
А под каким предлогом вошли в Ирак? Разработка оружия массового уничтожения в Ираке. Зашли, страну разрушили, создали очаг международного терроризма, а потом выяснилось, что ошиблись. Потом сказали, нас разведка подвела. Ничего себе. Разрушили страну, разведка подвела. И все. И все объяснение. Политики самих Соединенных Штатов.
Damn, dude. He's ripping on this clip. He's ripped. This is just Putin rips back to back. Putin rips. And I gotta say, like, I know the narrative right now. Evil is the narrative. I know that the narrative right now is evil, Putin, evil. But you can see the concern in his eyes. This last one is the scary one. And then we're gonna move on to my time at Dragon's Den.
Путем будет возвращать себе Крым. Европейские страны автоматически будут втянуты в военный конфликт с Россией. Конечно, потенциал объединенной.
See, this is how military people talk, though, and this is Putin's doing it because Putin's like very military minded. But even the military people in the West too, the NATO people, this is how people think. Look at what he's saying. He's saying Europe will have to come to Russia, then I will have to attack them. Like, no. You could still do a peaceful negotiation at that point, but this is how these people think. They just think like, you did a war move on me, I have to do a war move back. My people will, like, how am I going to look? It's really a lot of that. It is really a lot of that, And then this clip, though, I got to say, this is the one that makes me the most sad. Because this really does feel like
you won't see this in
this clip really does have this sense of like we're because what I learned in my training as a meditation coach is that we are all children of the Most High God, and we have to treat ourselves and each other like that, like children. And if a child went to another child and said, "Hey, can I be in your group? Can I play with you guys?" And they just said no, like, come on, as parents, we'd say, no, play with them. Like, you got to include everyone. Like, imagine a kindergarten teacher just said, no, this kid's a piece of shit. No, you got to sit down and work it out. We wouldn't let a kindergarten get away with it. We wouldn't let a grade 5 get away with it. But this is what these military people are doing in the world right now, in our name. They're just going around and doing these little, I don't like those guys. Push those guys, but they can't help it either because they're also traumatized by war. But let's see this.
Western media.
Никогда не говорил публично.
Hurts my feelings.
Скажу об этом впервые. В 2000 году во время.
Look at how he breathes. He goes, you could say Putin evil. I'm seeing a hurt little child here. I'm seeing a hurt little child to say, hey, can I play with you guys? But I'll play it.
Визита в Москву уходящего со своей должности президента США Билла Клинтона. Я спросил его, а как Америка отнесется к тому, чтобы принять Россию в НАТО? Не буду раскрывать все подробности этой беседы. Но реакция на мой вопрос внешне выглядела, скажем так, весьма сдержанной. А как американцы реально отнеслись к этой возможности, фактически видно на их практических шагах в отношении нашей страны. Так и хочется спросить, зачем? Зачем все это? Ради чего? Ну ладно, не хотите видеть в нашем лице друга и союзника, но зачем же делать из нас врага?
Does someone speak Russian, and can someone tell us that he's actually saying these words? Because if he's not saying these words, that's a big drip apology right here. If he never said those words, but you could see but the sentiment is there, I feel, as from them as a country, though. Like them as a country, I can see how they would feel like this. Like, what is it going to take, man? We're not communist anymore. Okay, we got a dictator. He is a dictator. Fine, fair enough. That's an issue. But that's all the more reason not to just move and move and move in on them. Oh my God, Sarah, you're so good. Oh my God, Sarah, $50. Jesus, this is American money probably. Whoo, God is great. Sarah, God is great. Last time I'm going to interrupt. Yeah, please. But no, Sarah, don't say last time I'm going to interrupt. Sarah, please, you can interrupt as much as you want. Last time I'm going to interrupt, but that's so funny. She's calling her super chat an interruption. Habibi, $50? God is great. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I do got to turn on the monetization. Last time I'm going to interrupt, but yeah, please just look at the written version because the illustrated version is too beautiful and distracting. On Tyranny by Tim Snyder. Maybe look later and talk about it another time if you'd like to, but defo check it. Yeah. No, Sarah, listen. On Tyranny, here's what we're going to do. You know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go into the road to tyranny. How did I get here? On Tyranny. Because I like how the first time, Sarah, you're like, hey, if you're a big dum-dum, just look at the picture book. But then I was like, dude, I don't have, then I do the picture and you're saying, hey, you know what? It's on Audible. So you know what? This is going to be listened to tomorrow. And Sarah, not only will I listen to it tomorrow, I really do take my karmas from the community. Because even when Roberto said yesterday, he's like, go Monday. Yeah. He's like, yeah, just go Monday to Friday. Yeah, why not? I can see that. In my head, my whole life is just like, it must be done. It must be done. And it will be done. And it is joy. It is joyful. It has been like it has been a tough day. Sorry for pushing the stream back, by the way, on all of you. I'm still trying to figure out exactly how to do these. It's just like, because if you can do anything, then you just can't decide on anything. You know what I mean? Anyway, also, I just had other stuff to do. Bobcat, thanks for confirming. Damn, you're okay. So Leah's here. Leah, is it Leah or Leah? I think it was Leah. I just met someone on the street named Leah too this week. Holy shit, what a social weekend. I can't believe just like, I don't want to be a braggart and I hate to jump from, and just let's lighten the mood up for just 2 seconds. And let me tell you some good news for Babaji. I was out this weekend. I can't keep track of whose number, there's just too many phone numbers and they're like messaging me. It was just such a joyful weekend. It was such a silly, joyful weekend. I just made such an impression on these girls. And it's such a jerk move, but I have to be like, where did I meet you again? Or I sent a wrong joke to someone. It's fine. We're going to figure it out. I gotta come up with some kind of system for that because it's just been so social. You know what I mean? Even not even for picking up girls, like even one of them was like, she had a boyfriend, but like I saw her on the street actually again, but she had a boyfriend, but then she's still been texting me about like, oh my God, like she's just watching all my stuff. She's probably going to watch the podcast soon. But, so even for promoting the show and stuff like that, it's been great. But, even on the subway, I just started talking to this girl on the subway and I just told her that I have a podcast. And then other people are like, but people do that even if you pick up girls on the street. People do that on the subway. If you holler at a girl on the subway, one time I talked to this girl on the subway. The whole as we're getting close to her stop, I just didn't ask for the number fast enough, whatever. But I was like, oh yeah, do you want? But I asked for the number, and some guy, this other Indian guy, like 4 seats over, he's like, we're both like looking for a pen. It was back in the day. This other Indian guy, like 4 seats down, he goes, I have a pen here, brother, please take it. Come on, yes. Oh wow. They're excited. They're in the game for you. You know what I mean? Bolt, LOL, that's awesome. Tell them about the drip. Jay Avru. Yeah, no. That's what I've been. Honestly, I don't know what to do. I'm like, I have a meditation, but I have the drip. So it's like, I got to print cards. And a lot of live shows coming up. So yeah, just figuring that out. But anyway, one last thing I did want to say about this Putin thing, though. This makes me.
You won't see this.
This not joining the NATO, it reminds me of like when I was a kid. I remember, why make enemy out of us? Yeah, you're a yeah, he's a dictator. Yeah. You're a dictator. Yeah. Haven't had an election in 50 years. 40, I think. I think he's been prime minister for 40 years. It's an issue. Listen, or 40 years or 20 years, something like, no, 20. Nah, not 40. Come on. I think it's been 20 years. I think he snuck in 2-3 elections. And killing opponents, and he got rid of that other guy. Also comedian. Man, Russia, the men are so hard in Russia. Ukraine too. Like, you won't see an American comedian. Like, as soon as you talk about politics, like, no, that's not for me. In the Ukraine, Russia, the comedian is a soldier, is also the politician. Like, Zelensky is, by the way, Zelensky is down with the troops. Someone was mentioning that there's some fake stuff coming out of Ukraine. One thing that did come, like one piece of fake like image that came out of Ukraine was Zelensky in some military outfit, but it was military outfit from like 2 years ago or something like that. However, he is in the trenches with his people, from what I can tell. That is confirmed. He's there. He's in the shit. You know, other people just run away. But your boy's a comedian, and he's fucking ripping, dude. No, on the one hand, I do love that. I do love that he's there and he's ripping, but it is terrifying, just that column of tanks that's coming. There's like a column of tanks, and every time I hear about it, they're like 3 miles long, 7 miles long. Now it's up to 33 miles long, and then the last I heard was 40-mile long. Miles, people. If you're Canadian, times 2. If you're thinking kilometers, European, Canadian, you're thinking kilometers, times 2. So it's 40 miles. It's basically 80 kilometers long, 85 kilometers long, maybe even. I think it's like 2.2. It's a little extra, the Americans. Such a typical American. They have to make everything bigger. Not even double the size. It's like 2.23 or something like that. So it's like 1 mile is 2.23 kilometers, something crazy. Why just go metric? What are you doing? Don't be stubborn about this. Anyway, the point is, the point I want to make on this Putin thing, why you want to make enemy of us? Why? The point that I want to make here is when he, and even people before him, when they said, hey, can I join NATO? When can Russia join NATO, or why can't Russia be part of NATO? NATO, excuse me, think about what the meaning of NATO is. The meaning of NATO is to stabilize. Apparently, it's supposed to be stabilized. What's the number one way? Like, the whole point of NATO is to check the Russian threat. So when the Russian comes to you and says, hey, can I join? Game over. And this is, people are saying 20 years ago, 30 years ago, this is supposed to happen. When the Iron Curtain fell, or like when the Cold War ended, when the communism fell, I think it was 91. I was alive for that. So, but it did take a long time. Look, it's 40 years. I understand why. This is all war trauma, and we have to have compassion for both sides. We truly have to have compassion for both sides. But this does remind me of, actually, and let me play a song. This reminds me of when I was a kid. I remember my sister was invited to a girl's party, right? And this is gonna be a perfect anecdote that'll really teach you how to view international relations. I think this is what I'm thinking. So my sister was invited to this party, and I think we were like, I think she was like 8 years old or whatever, right? She's invited to this party, and the party, it's like a bunch of 11-year-old girls going to the party. So maybe like a day before the party, our house, we get a call from this girl's mom. We get a call from this girl's mom saying, hey, Pooja wasn't invited to the party. My Pooja wasn't invited to the party. What's wrong with my Pooja? She's being bullied by someone and she wasn't invited to the party. So they called my mom. My mom tells my sister calls the girl throwing the party. Girl throwing the party has to call Pooja. Oh my God, I totally forgot. Oh, Pooja. Oh my God, I totally forgot. I forgot. Invite her to the party. You have to, right? Like, you have to do that. This is a community, right? Like, the mom called and said, listen, this is a community. What did my daughter do? My daughter wants to come to the party. True. It is because America is the cancel culture of international partnerships. That's why China is making power moves. They don't care. Honestly, cancel culture, I gotta say, it's true. Cancel culture, that is it is like that's what they're doing with Putin. They're doing a cancel on him, and that's how they justify going to war, I think. And honestly, cancel culture is, I think, in my opinion, cancel culture is actually toxic masculinity. It is the most. And Roberto, yesterday at the drip, I told Roberto, and Roberto seemed very much on board with the idea, and he really ran with it. So make sure you listen to yesterday's episode too. That was great. So many good rips from Roberto. But yesterday I was saying to him that like cancel culture is technically toxic masculinity, because if you think about like the idea of canceling someone, ostracizing someone, cutting them off, it is a social execution, you could say. You are socially, like you are defining them as an enemy and saying, I want to destroy this person. I want them out of the community. I want them out of our lives. And a more feminine thing to do, and I would argue as a loving kindness coach, the more powerful thing to do, which is also the more feminine thing to do, is instead of thinking about how can I kill someone, destroy someone, cancel, execute, whatever it is, the more feminine, the more nurturing, the more powerful thing to do, the more in line with Almighty God, is to say, you know, how do we help this person? You know, like if you really are convinced that someone's sick, the more feminine thing to do, which is the more powerful, which is the right thing to do, would be to say, hey, how do we fix this? How do we rehabilitate you? How do we nurture you out of this way of thinking and into like, you know, being more friendly with each other? And that's what I think, like, you know, that is the solution to this. Biden needs to call Putin and say, hey, we went too far with NATO, but they're not going to say that. They're not going to say that. We just have to sit tight on it and hold and see what happens. It's so sad, though. I hope that nobody gets too hurt. Yelena Antipova says women ostracize women too. Yeah. No, I'm not. It's not about men and women. It's more about, I feel like, masculine and feminine energy. Masculine energy is more about canceling, because canceling, and more militaristic. And then feminine is supposed to represent the life, the dance of life and creation and the creative force. And that is the Tao. The Tao is a feminine energy. This is what Lao Tzu teaches too. So anyway, look, we're going to have to stay tuned and see what happens. Let's hope that there's no war. Let's hope that, I mean, I just don't know I don't know what to think anymore. I don't know what to think about the Ukraine thing. It's so sad. He's attacking from 5 angles. He is a big jerk too. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Putin's not a big jerk, big meanie jerk. It's too much. But, wow, Raziel the Great says, Happy Mahashivratri. Honestly, I don't know any Hindus that celebrate Shivratri, but I know a lot of great white gurus that are posting these banger Shivratri, these Hindu memes. Like my Babaji was like, he sent a message in our WhatsApp group and he said, hey, everyone, Shivratri is upon us. Look, you're looking at double, triple source energy coming in today. So look out for it. And then he'd do this mantra, and he recorded the audio of the mantra and sent it to us. What a sweetie. How cute is that, dude? I remember when I was a kid, people would get married. Like if a brown girl married like a white guy or a black guy, the dad would be like, I'm going to kill myself because you're leaving, you're doing this, that, whatever. We know this. I couldn't believe, I told my uncles from India, I was like, this is how you should be, you idiots. I yelled at them. I'm like, you guys, bigotry. It's bigotry when you do this to your daughters. And this is how you should be, like this guy. And I was telling about this guy that we know where the girl married a Hindu guy. And then 6 months later, the dad said, you know what? I like the teachings too. And then the dad converted to Hinduism. That's good. That takes a lot of humility. Why? What's this animosity? What's this fighting mentality? It makes you suffer too. I mean, think about the suffering of someone who has to be like, well, I can't talk to you anymore because you changed your religion. This is a suffering on you. It's a suffering on them. It's just making up a fight in your head. It's all just a made up fight. Nobody gives a shit. But that's what all fighting is. According to the Buddha, all fighting, all negativity, all quote unquote evil, these are all just illusions. They're just mistakes. They're just traumas keeping us from seeing the truth, which is that we are all one, animated by one loving kindness energy, Satnam. And that's the source energy that's coming in right here. We got a lake here, but then we also got it coming in from the top. And right there's the digital ashram made by none other than Ed Lachinsky, all the way out in Ukraine. And our thoughts are with him and our blessings are with him. And, you know, I don't know if y'all are practicing loving kindness, but see if you can just shoot a shot of loving kindness over to the Ukraine and say, I hope you're well. I hope the suffering doesn't become too great. And I hope we can end it swiftly. Thoughts are the roadblock. Stop thinking so much. Bolt is here. Raziel the Great. Joel Cuevos. Yelena Antipova. Pray for Ed. Yes, Yelena. True. Ed. He made this design right here. This temple, this lake, and this giant tree. We designed it together. You know, we talked about it. I told him I need to build an ashram on, well, I told Steven actually, I was like, I need to build an ashram, but it exists on an electron cloud. So in my meditation, we actually go into your heart, and as we approach on an electron cloud, you can actually, we drive by my ashram, but that's not where we stop. We actually go to your source energy plasma. But I told him I need an ashram on an electron cloud. And of course, you know, there's not a lot of people who can build that, but Ed Lachinsky can do it. You know what I'm saying? When you need to build a digital ashram located on electron cloud, where do you go? You got to go to Ukraine. You got to go to Ed Lachinsky, and that's it. You can't just go out the door and say, hey, you're designing ashrams? Electron cloud ashram. Raziel the Great. I will also include the suffering of Palestine and Syria, Yemen, and Somalia, and all those who continue to suffer at the hands of greedy white imperialists. Amin. Are you saying amen or amin? I think amin means something too. Raziel the Great. Raziel the Great. That's a good name. Like, are you starting a radio show, dude? Because that's almost like Charlemagne the God. Raziel the Great. Hey, you're Raziel? Raziel the Great? Yeah, it's true, man. Palestine, Syria, Yemen, Somalia. There is a lot of suffering, but it is that double standard of suffering, I guess. You know, like this is just like basically our media is not going to tell us about any of these because it's not in. And I'm going to let's take out the word white, Raziel. Let's take out the word white because we don't have to make it about race, but we can say greedy imperialists. It's true, greedy imperialists. I would even take out greedy. I would say, you know, imperialists who have forgotten that they are love. It's a truly they have forgotten. You know, this is again. I'll say it again. There's no evil. There's only ignorance. So you could. That's what the Buddha teaches. You have to put it all under ignorance. Just different types of ignorance, but it's all just they're making a mistake, and we can tell them and we can bring them back. I think it's possible, you know, and I think maybe that could be the good that comes out of this. I don't know. Raziel the Great, imperialism period. Thanks, man. Yes, very true. Let's not see color. Honestly, you know, I hate, you know, like I just feel sometimes I feel like pylon on these white guys. Sometimes I just feel a pylon on these white guys. I mean, I know some broke, like, you know, not the best looking, not tall even white guys, and they are suffering. I'll tell you that. And then you know, everyone's just piling on them, and it's like this guy's gonna, you know, this guy. What did he do? He's not gonna hurt anyone. It's the grandparents that did it. Now everyone's mad at him, and that's fine. And that's, you know, so that's why I don't want to do that. You know, Yelena Antipova. Half of Israel is Arab Jews and North Africans, so not white. Yeah. No, I mean, we're all in the mix, baby. I mean, even Canada, like the Canadian government still has RCMP soldiers on Indigenous land, but technically, I'm on the British side now. Like in Canada, I'm technically on the British side because there's Indigenous land, and you can drive over to their side too in Canada. Like they have their own spots. I couldn't believe it. I went for the first time, like I don't know, like 2 years ago. I went to this protest, and I didn't realize. I had no idea. Again, this is all the way in. Like I think someone was saying, Raziel was saying, I stand with all these people, like Yemen. Well, you named all the other countries, like Yemen, Palestine, Syria. Right? Apparently, in Canada, it's pretty bad actually for the Indigenous people here. They're getting it pretty bad, and the RCMP are like a military force on their, like they're in their faces. They can just grab their Instagram feeds. They can actually just like hack into their stuff. You know what I mean? So this is a problem. This is a problem everywhere, and we gotta stop fighting with each other. It's inappropriate. Raziel the Great, I agree with you. Listen, they're all going to be brown. You know what I mean? If you're worried about these white people, if you're mad about white, don't be mad about white people. They're all going to be a little color soon enough. Give it 50 years, 100 years, it's going to be a little bit of something in there. So don't even worry about them. It's not even about that. It is about the hatred in our hearts, It really is like, I almost think like it's within each country. Like this is where nationalism is so stupid because it just puts everyone in one country on one team. And really, it's like there's imperialists in each country, and they're the ones that are like, let's fight. Like the military guys, they want to fight all the time. So there's people like that in every country, and then there's lefties in every country, and then there's like peaceniks in every country, and then there's like you know what I mean? Like religious fundamental, like everyone's got a full range. And we really have to start. That's why we have to start looking at each other. It's just like one human family, one human culture. And like any good culture, that's why I'm saying, and I'm gonna wrap this up and move on to my Dragon's Den appearance. But that's why I'm saying that, like, if Russia's been saying and before Putin even there with Clinton, like if Russia's been saying, hey, can we be in NATO? You have to play with them. You have to play with the Russians too. Right? Like you wouldn't let a bunch of kindergartens get away with it. You wouldn't let it, but you would in a kindergarten class, you wouldn't say this one's a piece of shit. He's stupid, whatever. You'd figure it out. You would not let that person bully everyone else either, but you'd figure out a way to, you're here to have fun. You're here to play with each other. We all are. And these guys are in an illusion. And, but one of the big hopes is actually, if you look at the relationship between Christians and Jews today, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, if you said Christians and Jews were going to be friends, the Christian would say, I'd never be friends with the Jew. I could never be friends with the Jew. Like they didn't like them. 50, maybe 60, 70 years ago, they didn't like each other. I remember I was watching a movie in the 50s, and they're making like $1 million. And this is like a true story, so I don't know if they actually got the real line or whatever, but it was like a bunch of billionaires, like 6 Christian billionaires, straight white man, 6 Christian, 1 Jewish. And I guess the Jewish guy was like, they had to do a deal with the Jewish guy for whatever reason. They normally didn't even want to do business with them, but they had to do some deal, and and one of them was saying, oh, let's meet at the country club. One of the Christian guys says, hey, let's meet at our country club. And then the other guy, the other CEO, business guy, whatever, he says, oh no, our club is no Jews. Let's go to the Hilton. And they just casually go to the Hilton because their country club would have said, oh, you're not allowed to let Jews in here. Still, they're doing business together. But the point is that even 60, 70 years ago, Christians and Jews, they would have said, no way we'll be friends. The Jews would have said, these guys have been killing us for thousands of years, from day one, I think. Wait. Not from day one, but like, pretty early. I feel like maybe 1,000, 1,500 years, Christians have been killing Jews. All in Europe, they've been persecuting Jews like for a long time. Then the Christians would have said, nah, we're not compatible, whatever it is, right? Fast forward today, you look at the relationship with Israel and America. Best friends. Best friends. Playing together every day. They're like two dudes, when you see 2 5-year-olds walking like this and saying, "This is my best friend." That's what they're like. And that's good. But you have to play with the Muslims too. This is the issue. You have to play with the Muslims too, and you have to play with the Russians too. You can't keep doing this thing. It's rude. You can't do that to people. So I'm already banned from Facebook. CEB Applejack, you're banned from Facebook? Oh, everyone's getting canceled, baby. Mike Lewis, my cat is watching this low key. That's so cute. That's so cute. Half of Israel is. Oh, no, I heard of that. Yep, we are all degrees of 10. Then you should get our weapons out of Ukraine. Russia needs to pull out. Ukraine needs to stop bombing the Donbass and get rid of Azov. And we need to stop trying to arm Israel. Trying to arm Israel? I thought we just arm Israel. I thought we just do that like fuck you, we just do that. And nobody can stop us. I thought we were doing it like that. Let the love flow. Mac23806. You're right. Let the love flow. I want to tell you guys about the show I did actually on Sunday. Such a good show. Thanks everyone for coming. I appreciate you. Sorry I was so late. I can't believe I came so late. But I really wasn't even planning on doing this until today. And every time I looked, it only said that one person was signed up. And then when I logged into the StreamYard thing, I saw all these comments and I was like, holy shit, everyone's waiting. Everyone's pissed. They keep pushing the time. But in my head, I was like, I thought that you guys can't even see it. So I just kept pushing it back. So my bad on that. Love you, babies. Love you. Love you. And wow, all of you look so beautiful today. Wow. Everyone's so beautiful. Raziel the Great is beautiful, and Bolt is beautiful, and Leia is beautiful, and Mac23806 is so beautiful, and Yelena is so beautiful. Oh my God, CB Object 59 is so beautiful. Everyone's beautiful. That's what you can do. Nighthawk. So beautiful, baby. This is a show I did called Rat's Nest. And you know, it's very relevant to the drip and even to like the anti-MLM crowd, the anti like what's it called crowd? The anti like scam crowd. Because basically this show, hold on. Basically this show is about, oh, Benjamin Andrew says you're beautiful too. Thanks, baby. Love you. Wait, I couldn't hit it. You're beautiful too. Amazing. Thank you. Thanks, baby. Benjamin Andrew. I like that. Mick Zemzem. Thumbs up the stream, gang. Yes, thumbs up it. Thumbs up it. There's a lot coming for the Digital Ashram. A lot of good collabs coming up in Toronto. I'm going to be doing a collab with this guy who runs the immigrant section. It's another great podcast in Toronto. My friend Abbas Wahab, great comic. So that's very exciting. But yeah, like I said, Sunday I did this show called Rat's Nest. And Rat's Nest is the Dragon's Den of Comedy Bar. So already, this was such a silly show. This show, I've always loved it too. And I've seen it a couple times. It's so silly. I think they just have like audio only. Let's try it. This is my boy Chris Sandiford. So these three do it together. It's like an improvised show. Hold up. Can you guys see this? It's so abstract, though. That's the thing. Like, that is so... But see here, I am still stable condition. For more info tonight at Rat's Nest. Anyway, the way the show works is you go in and you pitch, like, a product to them. So, and I was very proud of my product. And I want to tell you guys about my product too. I think you guys are going to be very happy with it. But you basically have to go in and pitch like a fake product. This is at the Comedy Bar in Toronto. Incredible show. Great podcast. Check it out. And me and my boy Chris Sandiford. This is Chris Sandiford. We're going to do some stuff together. He's going to be on the show soon. Hilarious. I actually want to write a movie with him because he truly is right now the king of Hallmark movies. The guy books Hallmark movies. Like, forget it. And he just always plays a guy in a Hallmark movie. Like, speaking of token, yesterday we talked about launching a coin called Token Brown Guy, the Token Brown Guy token. If anyone knows, if anyone's in the crypto game and you know how to do that, get in touch, right? I'm at Fade to Brown. Get in touch. You want to do a token brown guy token? I'm down. You know what I'm saying? Tell me what the process is. Tell me what the process is. It would be nice to have a coin. It would be nice to have an NFT. We need some kind of publicity stunt for the channel. Listen, this channel is not going to grow itself. You know what I'm saying? We got to do something wacky. We got to do something silly. Sandy baby, this is right here. He's someone that we could, I think we can make some cool stuff with. Him, I actually want to make a short film with him, or maybe a feature film. And it is about how he is like the king of the Hallmark movies. But I was thinking like it would be funny because he's already the king of Hallmark movies, and Hallmark movies are all shot in Sudbury. But I thought it'd be funny if he's like the king of Hallmark movies, but then I book a part and I'm in one movie, and then immediately, even though it's Christmas, all happy dappy on set, behind the scenes, me and him do a beef because he's like, get the fuck out of my fucking, this is my turf, dude. No token brown guys, it's token black guy, and I'm gonna keep it that way, and you get the fuck out. Like that's what I was thinking. So yeah, but let's get him on the podcast. So I think that's gonna be a lot of fun when he gets on the show. But anyway, Rat's Nest, you basically go to these three. His name on the show is Jeremiah Saint Baby. His name in real life is Chris Sanford. A name on the show is Jeremiah Saint Baby. This is Mark Little, pretty huge, like TV producer, writer, comedian, like he's done some banger stuff. Big, like pretty viral too, like huge stuff. And then this is James Greco. James Greco. Anyway, he is the founder of the Rats. And these three are the Rats. And you go in and say, dear Rats, this is what I want to do. Dripcoin NFT. Interesting. And you basically go in and pitch a product. So the product that I pitched, I was very proud of it. I was very proud of how much it was just making me laugh as I thought about it. Because I made a brochure for it and nobody else came in with a brochure. So I was very happy with my performance. Also, I came in with a brochure. Now, here's the thing. The product that I made. Oh, and you know what else I did really good on it? Because we're pitching a product, right? And you're trying to get their money. So at the end of the pitch, you have to do it like Dragon's Den, where at the end you have to be like, okay, so I want $14 million for 20% ownership of the company, da-da-da. And then they play this tense music and they have to decide on whether or not they're going to buy your product. Anyway, I pretend sold my product to Jeremiah Saint Baby. He was very much interested. And Mark Little, two of them were interested. They bought my product. And I'm very proud of the product. And I'm going to tell you guys about it. And I'm going to tell you guys about it like this. I'm going to ask you a question. What's the biggest problem facing the world today? Go ahead. You can put it in the comments. Take a guess. One word answer, put it in the comments. What's the biggest issue? What's the biggest problem facing the world today? And I'm going to set up the slide while you guys figure that out. And I'm going to put some music on for you guys. Put the music on. Biggest problem facing the world today. Here, I'm going to put in the banners. I'm going to add a banner. Biggest So, biggest world problem today, one word answers, put it in the comments. Hatred, war, good answers. No, control, aging, money's a little close. Toilet paper, fear, great answers. Great. Okay, it starts with an M though. Starts with an M. Keep going. Keep doing guesses. Starts with an M. Tony Detienne says, or for me, finding socks that don't restrict the blood flow to my ankles. If you have diabetes, that is a big issue, I think. I've heard about that. Jacket, lack of faith. No, it starts with M. Starts with M. Anyone? How is it not money? Well, money's connected to it, but for the sake of my pitch, we can't do money. We can't change it to money now. So everything's been printed. So it's close to money, not masculinity. Fern, not masculinity. We have to balance the toxic masculine, not get rid of it. Masculinity is a beautiful thing. There's beautiful things that come out of masculinity. You know what I'm saying? This weekend I was out. I was talking to so many girls. Oh my God, it was such a sexy energy the whole weekend. It was so just touchy. Lack of meditation. Materialism. Got it. Materialism. Right there. Materialism. That's the answer. Materialism. Okay, next question. What's the best way to eradicate materialism? Go ahead. How do we eradicate materialism? And I'm going to get the slide ready. How do we eradicate it? Go ahead. I'm going to figure out how to share this stupid thing. Okay, here we go. Window. What's the worst thing, people? What's the worst thing? No. What is the worst? Not the worst thing. Materialism is the worst thing. We got materialism. What is the how do we solve materialism is the next question. How do we solve materialism? How do we solve it? With merch. Materialism merch. I created a company called endmaterialismnow.org. Let me hold on. Let me show you the logo. It showed the wrong file first. Stop screen, share screen, camera? No. Slides? No. Share screen. Window? Let's go. Here we go. What the hell? What is it showing you guys? Oh, it's showing you guys this. Okay, cool. So if you look at the top right corner, it says endmaterialismnow.org. And that's our certified logo. So this is a double-sided brochure that I printed. And we got some people involved here like Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey says we should end materialism. Absolutely correct. This is Pete Davidson, very hot right now, trying to get him on board. But I have heard him say, yo, F materialism. Him and Kardashian both saying that. Come on, guys, end it. And then this is, of course, is Jeremiah saying, baby, this is my buddy who's one of the rats on Rat's Nest. And he's actually investing in the company now. So we're going to be printing these products. But let me show you a bit of the product line. I don't know if you could see it before, but we have a whole product line that is coming out for this. And there we go. This is the one this is the inside of the pamphlet. So basically what we do is we print that logo that I showed you. We print it on all this merchandise. And as we print it, we raise awareness. And you can buy this special bear. There's an End Materialism Now mascot bear and plush toy. And you can say hello to Moomy. And a lot of people saw this and they thought this was like some little girl. No, this is like a 20-year-old girl. This teddy bear is huge because we want to get that point across. Materialism bad. And the logo is right on the paw. So that's so cute that we got the logo on the paw. So yeah, this is what I pay. And then of course I have a quote from Nelson Mandela. Nothing has separates the power to go ahead, read it. Yep. It's a beautiful quote. Joshua Mowdy says, capitalism is materialism. I'm not going to end our way of life, son. Joshua, you're not seeing it. Big money in this. We can make big money in this. We get the lefties on board. Did you see who's on the back? Did you see who's on the back? We got Oprah on board. We sell this merch, baby. We're making the money. We're making the money. We're spreading the word, ending materialism. See, it's a double win game here. So this endmaterialismnow.org is capitalism. This guy does. Joshua, know when to see an opportunity. You need to know when to see an opportunity. You need to know that this is an opportunity, big bucks in front of my face. Dude, you know how much we can sell these teddy bears for? These teddy bears go 50, 60 bucks a pop. And Materialism Now teddy bears. Can we link to merch, token brown guy, NFT coin? We really got to figure out this token brown guy token. But I think the token game's over, guys. What are we doing? We're not doing tokens. Also, Steven's going to be pissed. We come up with a token over here. Can you imagine? He's going to be like, what the hell's going on, dude? You actually started a scam. I was telling him, yeah, Bolt says 500 a pop, more like it. Honestly, it's a beautiful teddy bear, man. It's a sexy teddy bear. And it's called Moomy. And if we can get the right celebrities, the right influencers on board, I think it could really pop. You're late to the NFT, Leah. Okay. NFT, well, you can't do a token brown guy NFT. It's got to be token brown guy token. So it's got to be crypto. The token brown guy token. No, it's over. What are we going to do? We're going to do a scam? Like how BLM merch monopolized them for a while? What? MASH. I don't know these conspiracies. Trillium McMillan, you get the left and the right. Bring them together like turmeric sales. Yes! Very positive, Trillion. Trillion, you're in marketing. Trillions in marketing. That's the kind of positive attitude we need. We need to get both sides, man. They both have money. I think grifting, I don't know. Is it easier on these lefties or is it easier on the righties? Because the thing about the righties is, they get riled up. You know, they're so easy to get riled up. They get so excited. Let's see how Donald Trump's website's looking these days. Speaking of Donald Trump for president, I got to just see. You know, he's always such a pleasant surprise because you just kind of go like, you know, like sometimes I think like of things that I should do for the channel, and I'm like, oh, that'll be too aggressive. I don't know if I should do that. Then I see the Donald Trump website, and I'm like, God damn it, this guy just won't quit. This guy, in his mind, he's still the president. He doesn't care. And I can't believe how many people are like, the whole thing's a sham. He's coming back. President Trump's official President's Day card. Add your name. Guaranteed this is going to be, how much is this going to cost? Oh, here we go. Just to sign the card? Why is it? The 100 is shaking. Can you see this? Oh, y'all can't even see this. God damn it. I got to show you this. It's so funny. Oh my God. Stream. Honestly, I think I should just go to freaking, I think I should just go to Zoom. Look at this. Why can't I? Look at the $100 is shaking in there. Can you believe this guy? He's still just signed the President Trump's $100, and the $100 is shaking. 25 is there, 50 is there. I can't just give you $5, dude. This is not worth more than $2. It's just a card with my name on it. It's a printed card. 2,500. Oh my God. The future of our country is at stake, and President Trump is calling on all patriots to join his fight to save America. Will you step up? Damn. We want to get 1 million signatures from the American people. Oh, wait a minute. Please send President Trump's only official President Trump's Day card immediately and leave a short note. Wow. Hold on. It's not letting me move around on here. Okay, now let me share it again. Wow, he just doesn't, man. You know, you got to admit, right? The work ethic, right? Like, dude, you're 90. Just call it a day, bro. $100 monthly plus $100 on. Look at that. Like this is the king of the upsell. Look at this upsell. It's meaningless. $100 monthly plus $100 on third. Oh, so it's like this. It's January, February, March 10th, I guess. March 10th is President's Day. Donate an additional. Look at what they do. So you have it on 100, and then they have these automatic donate an additional $100 automatically on 30. Man, the guy's working so hard. What happens if you click on this? Oh, they changes to 50. Well, that's nice. But if you do this, 2,500 monthly, 2,500. Wow. I love how the automatic setting is just, it's per month you're paying the guy, but the automatic setting is just do an extra one on March 10th. We can't slow down. President Trump is calling on you to step up before our next deadline. Having enough cash on hand is essential to saving America from Joe Biden and his liberal cronies. Step up now. Donate an additional $2,500 automatically on 30. Wow. Okay, cool. That's okay. I mean, is that all that's happening with this guy? Like, come on, guy, you got to have more. Let's check the main website. The main website's going to have some shit. I want to see some, like, I'm coming back. He's already been talking shit about the whole Putin thing. He's calling Putin a genius. So weird. About events, news. Together, we are rebuilding our nation. Yeah, interesting. Eh? He's just acting. Wow. Save America, President Donald J. Trump. It still says president. No, but they all call themselves president forever. Even Obama, they call him president. So just cool it. Okay, cool. News? No. Where's Truth Social? I want to go to Truth Social. Damn. Oh, no. You got to download it. Okay, fine. Whatever. Raziel, Joshua, Trillium, McMillan. The work ethic. You always find the good. Trillium, I'm on a mission from God, Trillium. I'm on a mission from God, Trillium. Always finding good. Always finding ways to love. We do. That is the job. You got to raise the awareness. And I'm going to listen to On Tyranny. Thank you so much, Sarah. $50. What a nice thing to do. And let's put that up. Dripcoin NFT? Dripcoin. We need to find the token, brown guy token of NFTs. There you are, Sarah. Last time I'm going to interrupt, but yeah, please look at written version because illustrated version is too beautiful and distracting. On Tyranny by Tim Snyder. I will check that out. I've been hearing some lefty voices too on the whole Ukraine thing. I've been hearing some, I just heard Abby Martin's thing on it. And I got to say, it is the most complex. It is so complex. I mean, there is like, it's like the Democrats are just like, go to war. The Republicans seem kind of rational on this. And I know it always flips. It's like, it's always going to flip on stuff. So it just happens in America. It's because the Amish make Babaji token. Yeah. Let's do it. NFTs are tokens. It's the same. It's in the name. Oh, Bolt. So we can still make a token brown guy token. Holy shit. We can still make a token brown guy token. So maybe we should make the token brown guy token. You know, I mean, listen, I think Roberto will give it the juice on social media. I think Roberto will give it some juice. But instead of a pump and dump, it's got to be like a subscription drive. You know what I'm saying? We got to convert the pump and dump into a subscription. I don't know. I don't know. It'll come. Listen, NFTs are not dead, are they? Are NFTs old and dead? Democrats are diet Republicans. 100%. They're the same. What is the difference anymore? I can't believe this video I saw. Actually, I do want to show you this video by Johnny Harris. It's crazy how people are just doing independent, like, sometimes people just do like this independent propaganda. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just do this independent. All right, we're going back to Putin. Let's go back to Putin. Keep thinking about this, though. Keep thinking about this. This is a big business opportunity. Oh, my God. This guy, I used to love this guy, too. And it's crazy. This is a proper lefty kind of guy. You can hear the social justice in his voice. He's got a heavy social justice voice. But then this is the video he did on Putin. I think this is like a month ago.
Struggle between big powers. But really, it's the story about what Vladimir Putin really does. Russian troops moving swiftly to take control of military bases in Crimea. Before we go any further, I want to say thank you to today's sponsor, which is Better. The roots of all of this. So let's go. A few months ago, Russia started sending more and more troops to this border. It's the massive border between Ukraine and Russia. They said they were doing a military exercise, but the rest of the world was like, yeah, we totally believe Russia. This was right before.
Ugh, why is he doing? Everyone's doing like a Hassan Minaj right now. Don't do it. Honestly, John Oliver too. It's like, just stop with the jokes. This guy was so good before he but this is like so obviously he's on like a team. Leia says you are echoing. Seriously, am I echoing? Hold up. Oh, you mean the sound from him is echoing, maybe. Hello? How about now? Better? Hold on, let me check the audio. Audio check. Hello. The echo cancellation is on. Are you hearing double audio still? Not you. Yes, the video was. Okay, let's hear it now.
for this big meeting where North American and European countries were coming together to talk about a lot of different things like these countries often do in these diplomatic summits. But soon, because of Russia's aggressive behavior coming in and setting up 100,000 troops on the border with Ukraine, the entire summit turned into a whole WTF Russia, what are you doing on the border of Ukraine meeting. Before the meeting,
Oh my God.
Putin comes out and says, listen, I have some demands for the West. And everyone's like, okay, Russia, what are your demands? You know, we have like COVID-19 right now and like that's like surging. So like we
Dude, even on 1.5, you can hear Leah. Sorry, Leah. Sick. I'm getting some of these. Going in, good. So already, Leah, already. Do you see the Eurocentric, American-centric view? Sorry, Putin. Like, this guy's voice is so social justice. He's basically gonna do, sorry, Putin, you're canceled. That's what this video is. This video is like, Putin, you're canceled.
don't need your like bluster about what your demands are. And Putin's like, no, here's my list of demands. Putin's demands for the summit were this. Number one, that NATO, which is this big military alliance between US, Canada, and Europe, stop expanding, meaning they don't let any new members in. Okay. So Russia's like, no more new members to your like cool military club that I don't like. You can't have any more members. Number two, that NATO withdraw all of their troops from anywhere in Eastern Europe. Basically, Putin is saying, I can veto any military cooperation or troops going between countries that have to do with Eastern Europe, the place that used to be the Soviet Union. Okay. And number three, Putin demands that America vow not to protect its allies in Eastern Europe with nuclear weapons. LOL, said all of the other countries. You're literally nuts, Vladimir Putin. Like, these are the most ridiculous demands ever. But
Are they? LOL, said the other countries. Like, these are the most ridiculous demands ever, Putin.
there he is, Putin, with these demands, these very, very aggressive demands. And he sort of...
In what world? Who's paying you? Who's paying this guy? Nobody, because that's what happens when you start going to war. This is a month ago, though. This is like a month ago. This is not even after like he actually after he attacked them. I get this kind of bluster, but really, it's you have the bluster. You guys are moving in on him. Hello? Do you hear yourself?
is implying that if his demands aren't met, he's going to invade Ukraine. I mean, it doesn't work like this. This is not how
He's been saying this for 6 years.
international relations work. You don't just show up and say, like, I'm not going to allow other countries to join your alliance because it makes me feel uncomfortable. But what I love about this list of
It is a military alliance that's right on his border, and it allows them to put nuclear weapons on their land. It's pretty reasonable. It's pretty reasonable. Anyway, just here, you can just tell this guy has gone to social justice. He's basically canceled Putin.
demands from Vladimir Putin for this summit is that it gives us a clue on what Vladimir Putin really wants, what he's after here. You read them closely and you can grasp his intentions. But to grasp those intentions, you have to understand what NATO is and what Russia and Ukraine used to be. Okay, so a while back I made this video about why Russia is so damn big, where I explained how modern day Russia started here in Kiev, which is actually modern day Ukraine. In other words, modern day Russia, as we know it, has its
Anyway, he goes through all this. I want to show you the end because he just does so. It's just nonstop, like cancel Putin, Putin evil,
original
whatever.
own close people. I mean, listen, like I'm not in support of what Putin is doing, but like that's like a pretty solid like analogy. If China suddenly showed up and started like coaxing Canada into being a part of its alliance, I would be a little bit like, what's going on here? That's what Putin feels.
A little bit. Like the Americans will have, like it's not even close. Like it's not even close. What is this guy doing? He used to be at Vox.
And so I kind of,
But honestly, that Vox, that I feel like the Democratic side, the left, they're fully on board with NATO. They're pushing for war. It's sad.
what he means there. There's a deep heritage and connection between these people. And he's seen that falter and dissolve, and he doesn't like it. He clearly, genuinely feels a brotherhood and this deep heritage connection with the people of Ukraine. Okay, Putin, I get it. Your essay is compelling there at the end. You're clearly very smart and well-read. But this does not justify what you've been up to, okay? It doesn't justify sending 100,000 troops to the border.
This is a month ago, by the way. This is before Putin actually attacked.
sending cyber soldiers to sabotage the Ukrainian government, or annexing territory, fueling a conflict that has killed tens of thousands of people in eastern Ukraine. No. Okay? No matter how much affection you feel for Ukrainian heritage and its connection to Russia, this is not okay. Again, it's like the boyfriend who genuinely loves his girlfriend. They had a great relationship, but they broke up, and she's free to see whomever she wants. But Putin is not ready to let go.
What the hell's wrong with you? I love you, Jessica. What the hell is wrong with you? Dude, don't fucking touch me. I love you.
He keeps doing this joke.
Putin has constructed his own reality here, one in which Ukraine is actually being controlled by shadowy Western forces who are holding the people of Ukraine hostage. And if
They kind of are. Like the Americans did back like a. Anyway, we don't need to get into that.
he invades,
I think NATO is bad enough. Like NATO expansion is bad enough.
it'll be a swift victory because Ukrainians will accept him with open arms, the great liberator. Like, this guy's a total romantic. He's a history buff and a romantic, and he has a hill to die on here. And it is liberating the people who have been taken from the Russian motherland. Kind of like the abusive boyfriend who's like, she actually really loves me, but it's her annoying friends who are planting all these ideas in her head.
He keeps doing this joke. It's terrible.
That's why she broke up with me. And it's like, no, dude, she's over you.
What the hell's wrong with you? I love you, Jessica.
I mean, maybe this video should be called Putin is just like your abusive ex-boyfriend.
What the hell's wrong with you? I love you, Jessica.
Okay, so where does this leave us? It's 2020.
Why does everyone have to do jokes? You know? Why the jokes? Like, let them come natural, I feel like. They come. It's fine. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, Hassan Minhaj was okay. I mean, I find John Oliver, I'm just like, dude. I would watch John. Honestly, I would watch every John Oliver report if he didn't do jokes. I wish someone could just cut the jokes out because it's actually good. But then I don't like that they're too heavy-handed on maybe what I think is like just kind of like a Eurocentric war propaganda. For him to say this, that like, sorry, Putin, it doesn't work like that. Oh, so they put a military alliance right up to your door, right up to your border. It doesn't work like that. Like it's just a weird. I really got to get Ed on the show. I want to hear Ed Laczynski's thoughts on this because Ed would, I don't think, from what I remember, from what I know of him, I think he would say the same thing about NATO. Like, fuck off, man. Why are you here? Why isn't Russia part of NATO? That's what this guy should be saying.
Putin is showing up to these meetings in Europe to tell them where he stands. He says, NATO, you cannot expand anymore. No new members, and you need to withdraw all your troops from Eastern Europe, my neighborhood. He knows these demands will never be accepted because they're ludicrous. But what he's doing is showing a false effort to say, well, we tried to negotiate with the West, but they didn't want to. Hence,
it's not a false effort. They've been trying for 6 years.
Giving a little bit more justification to a Russian.
Obviously, that's too much. It's too much what he did. Too heavy-handed, too much. But he has been trying for 6 years. And it's very aggressive action, and it's aggressive action that the Americans would not even just do think of the context of this. This is not even in the hemisphere. Like, you're going right up to his doorstep and then saying, why are you so evil? What, because I put nukes here? Why are you so evil? What's all the evil? The Americans would go crazy if there's anyone in South America. They have absolute control. Cuban Missile Crisis, they fought a war. Immediately they fought a war.
Will Russia invade? Is there war coming? Maybe. It's impossible to know because it's all inside of the head of this guy. But if I were to make the best argument that war is not coming tomorrow, I would look at a few things.
Tomorrow?
Number one, war in Ukraine would be incredibly costly for Vladimir Putin. Russia has a far superior army to Ukraine's, but still, Ukraine has a very good army that is supported by the West and would give Putin a pretty bad bloody nose in any invasion. Controlling territory in Ukraine would be very hard. Ukraine is a giant country. They would fight back, and it would be very hard to actually conquer and take over territory. Another major point here is that if Russia invades Ukraine, this gives NATO new purpose. If you remember, NATO was created because of the Cold War, because the Soviet Union was big and nuclear powered. Once the Soviet Union fell, NATO sort of has been looking for a new purpose over the past couple decades. If Russia invades Ukraine, NATO suddenly...
That's true. It's weird. He is actually making all the NATO arguments, but he's making it's just in his delivery. Like the NATO arguments, he's saying like, NATO is a military treaty organization that's expanding right up to Russia's border. And then Putin's making demands saying, stop doing that. Sorry, Putin, it doesn't work like that. Like, it's just all in delivery. So he is actually making the NATO points. It's like he's saying the literal thing of like NATO is a military organization getting right up to their face. But then it's still, in the end, it's too bad because, and this is like just amateur propaganda by Democrats. I would call this guy a pretty standard establishment Democrat type of guy, I guess. He's like in that, listen, just the social justice voice alone, it's like he's too deep. He's like part of that, right?
Has a brand new purpose to unite and to invest in becoming more powerful than ever. Putin knows that, and it would be very bad news for him if that happened. But most importantly, perhaps the easiest clue for me to believe that war isn't coming tomorrow is the Russian propaganda machine is not preparing the Russian people for an invasion. In 2014, when Russia was about to invade and take over Crimea, this part of Ukraine, there was a barrage of state propaganda that prepared the Russian people that this was a justified attack. So when it happened, it wasn't a surprise and it felt very normal. That isn't happening right now in Russia, at least for now. It may start happening tomorrow, but for now, I think Putin is showing up to the border, flexing his muscles, and showing the West that he is earnest. I'm not sure that he's going to invade tomorrow, but he very well could. I mean, read the guy's blog post and you'll realize that he is a romantic.
This movie is this is too much. They're all doing like Putin's evil propaganda. Listen to the music.
About this. He is incredibly idealistic about the glory days of the Slavic empires, and he wants to get it back. So there is dangerous momentum towards war. And the way war works is even a small little like fight can turn into the other guy doing something bigger and crazier, and then the other person has to respond with something a little bit bigger. That's called escalation. And there's not really a ceiling to how much that momentum can spin out of control. That is why it's so scary when two nuclear countries go to war with each other, because there's kind of no ceiling. So yeah, it's dangerous. This is scary. I'm not sure what happens next year, but the best we can do is keep an eye on this. At least for now, we better understand what Putin really wants out of all of this. Thanks for watching. I appreciate everyone for being here. I'm excited for another year of a lot of bigger, more ambitious videos on this channel. I've been diving really deep. I've been printing a lot of things out.
I love you.
World Star!
Putin has constructed his own.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's crazy how this is just like independent. People are just making this. So many people are like, let's go to war. Let's just attack. And I feel like Putin is evil is step number one for that. CB, ABC News, I don't quite understand. ABC, the news, I don't quite understand. Joshua Mowdy, how fanciful of fairy tale stories do the masses actually believe? Ask you. Raziel the Great. Raziel the Great. Hot Carbon. Trillian McMillan. I don't care about their origin stories. LOL, Batman or the Joker. What? Everyone loves the origin stories. Hey, Hohenheim, do you want to send me that trailer? Let's watch your trailer, dude. Sorry, we couldn't watch it yesterday. Honestly, yesterday was like, I got to say, Roberto, man, great episode. What a blessing. What a blessing. And what a great idea to go dailies. And yeah, we may know what escalation means, but the world is fucking stupid. So yeah, I guess we do know what escalation means, but I do feel like what he's saying, his rhetoric though, is like very, like the only conclusion to his speech is escalation. It's just Putin is evil. And even though it's weird because they do, I guess it is just a deep Euro, like it's just a deep Eurocentrism that has for thousands of years, for hundreds of years at least, said that Russia is and isn't really part of the club and doesn't get to be our friend and has to be over there. Hohenheim. And yes, yesterday was excellent drip episode. Roberto is great and you guys have great chemistry. Yeah, man, I think Roberto will be on like once a month. But listen, Hohenheim, yesterday I didn't get a chance to play your full trailer, so send it again, if you don't mind there, bud. Raziel the Great. Oh, I see what you mean. Jay Abreu, I think I brought it up to you, Amish, when I got on the call. But yeah, Americans aren't realizing that this is similar to the Cuban Missile Crisis, but we're the ones enforcing it. Yeah, no, that is the tough thing here. You know, like it really is. You know, the first thing Oh, what's the old quote? There's like an old quote from like 100 years ago that the first casualty of war is the truth. So as soon as wars start, you just start putting out propaganda. Whether it's, on the Ukraine side, they got to put out some propaganda. They got to make, they got to. I wouldn't even say it's the Ukraine government putting out that stuff, but it just seems like, they could be putting out stuff. I've added the link at the drip. I don't know why it doesn't let me just freaking cut and paste this. Why can't I cut and paste it? Okay, wait. How do I do? No. No problem, homie. I've added the link at the drip. Wait. At the drip. Okay. Does it squelch links? Yeah, no, it doesn't let me click on a link, bro. Sorry, dude. But if you type it, I'll just type it. Yeah, just type it. Sorry, I'll type it. Listen, you know what we got to do? We got to go over to Zoom, maybe. No, but this is better than Zoom. This at least lets me put your comments up. I do like putting your comments up. The only conclusion to your speech is escalation. Damn, that's deep reason for meditation and to realize we are not our thoughts. Trillion McMillion. It's true, man. I mean, Putin is evil. There's nowhere to go with that. There's nowhere to go with that. There's no responsibility taken. Like, you're right in their face with nuclear weapons. And there's so many people calling for war when both sides have nuclear weapons. That's terrifying. And every European country is beefing up their military budgets. I think the U.S. is sending 7,000 troops to Germany again, so that Germany can send 7,000 troops further in, closer to Russia. And they're going to stay like that. Again, this is very military thinking. But it's actually, you have to... Listen, now that Russia actually attacked, you have to do this. I think for like people are saying that for like the next 10 or 20 years now, there's just going to have to be increased military presence there. There's just no way around it. You have to, like, all around. They're going to beef it up, and then it's just going to stay for like 10 years. Hohenheim, yeah, it does squelch the links. Can you just say what it was again? What proof is it in there? Years later, Hohenheim, Snowden showed us what the dad wanted us to see. I sent it to via Discord. Discord. Honestly, dude, yesterday when you typed out just the name of it, that was perfect because I could just search that. Let me see my Discord, though. Oh, God. Discord. Where's Discord? Discord is here. Let me play some music for y'all. Here we go. Oh, yeah. This is incredible music. Okay. Where do I go? Oh, by the way, if anyone wants to do call-ins, here. I'm posting a link into the comments. Does it let you guys see links? I just posted a link in the comment. If anyone wants to say something, I'm surprised there's not more. I feel like everyone here is. I feel like everyone here is just on my side on this. What happened in Danville 2022? Okay, cool. Let's watch this. This is for Hohenheim. No, I'm a filmmaker too, man, and I gotta, I gotta work on my premises. You know what I'm saying? Sold one show so far, one show is being sold right now, and I'm trying to get on sell another one. But it's always good to meet filmmakers. You know what I'm saying? Meet some players in the game. Let's check out. Oh, the whole movie's here. But this is a Hohenheim production. Let's check it out. Kelly,
I just feel like you wouldn't believe me. So for me to sit here and talk about it, this makes you sound crazy. This makes you sound...
Dude, this looks tight, man. This is very well shot. Man, I see so much stuff on TV that looks like shit. This looks very beautiful, dude.
Crazy. This makes you sound crazy.
You don't seem crazy to me.
Dude, that soft focus. Oh
This
my
makes you
god.
sound crazy. This makes you sound crazy. This makes you sound crazy.
You don't seem crazy to me. All that much of a logger. I'd say his account is the only one we can trust.
Oh my god.
I'm crazy, which makes me sound just as crazy. It just doesn't make sense. I lived a normal life, did normal things, felt normal every day. Why am I crazy now? Yeah.
What happened in Denville? Damn, dude. That looks sexy. Very tight, dude. Very tight. Psychological thriller, 2 hours, 6 minutes run time. Damn, the drip. We should collaborate on anything, Amish. The podcast guest wasn't enough. And yes, I take what I do seriously. We have beautiful framing. Oh, and no, that was very, very well shot. And your composition, truly every frame was a painting of that trailer. That was beautifully shot. And he's talking about, like, he's saying how do I know I'm crazy? That's a very good question that he was asking. It's like, how do you know if you're crazy or not? How do you know? You just got these voices in your head, different voices saying different stuff. I like it. You know me, I'm getting very spiritual these days. I'm getting very meditation, psychological, spiritual, upgrading the mental psychological programming. So these are the kinds of things I like to see. I might have to check out the movie, 2 hours and 6 minutes. Okay. There's lots to watch. Hohenheim, don't be offended. But that looks pretty tight. I got to say that looks pretty tight. Everyone should watch it. Whole community has to watch it. Honestly, we should do a movie night. Next week, I'll talk about it. Oh, you know what I'll do? There's all these girls, so you know what? There's so many girls that are obsessed with horror, and if I say it's a horror, some girl will watch it with me. There's actually like 2 or 3 girls I know that are obsessed with horror. One girl I'm supposed to meet up with her and watch Sleepaway Camp. So yeah, let me send this trailer out to a couple of girls, and that's the deal I'll strike with you. If I can get a Netflix and chill on this Hohenheim production, baby, I'll watch the movie, and then we're going to talk about it here. We got to be productive. You know what I'm saying? We got to be productive. We got to hit at least the 2 birds with one stone. And that's my thinking. And that's maybe my psychology is incorrect on that. And maybe I should just be taking time. That was one of the great things I learned that the guy says in No More Mr. Nice Guy. He basically talks about how if you're like, as a man, you have to take time out for yourself. Like, just don't feel like you don't have time to ever do anything. Like, make sure you're doing things. Like, make sure you watch a movie. Like do things without and still get your work done, but make sure you check stuff out like that. What did you mumble about Sleepaway Camp? I'm supposed to watch it with someone. That's it. I haven't seen it yet. Raziel the Great. Am I mumbling? Holy shit. How's the audio? Is it coming through tight? What's up? Ron Good. Some people don't have any mental dialogue, so just having any thoughts is crazy. Well, this is very interesting that you bring this up, this internal dialogue, because and we'll talk about this, and I think I'm going to call it a night, unless anyone wants to jump in. But yeah, I have been checking out this thing called Internal Family Systems, and I'm going to share this with you. Internal Family Systems. I mean, it's basically like Buddhism, but what these guys basically teach... Here, let's look at this one.
Hey, everybody. Recently, I've been researching and practicing some ideas and strategies from a therapy called Internal Family Systems, or
I thought this
IFS
is pretty
for
tight,
short.
I gotta say.
It's an evidence-based, trauma-informed therapy developed by medical educators and psychiatrists at Harvard. While I'm not an expert or authority on IFS, we will be using it on a more regular basis, and I wanted to outline how I see IFS helping us in our work together. I think the best place to begin with is what IFS calls our self. It's the center of who we are. It's available from birth and remains undamaged as a resource for us to live from. The characteristics of our self are calm, compassionate, curious, connected, confident, clarity, courageous, and creative.
See, this is very similar to meditation and loving kindness. This is our true nature. That's why if people are fighting, it's not our nature to fight. We shouldn't be fighting. You have to do it. You have to do it. But I would add collaborative to this. Calm, curious, connected. Connected is kind of collaborative. Creative, confident, but without being aggressive to someone else. Courage, compassion, clarity. I would add collaborative, but
when we're able to notice and respond to life from this centered place, IFS refers to this as self-leadership. While our self is always available and our preferred place of leadership, it becomes impacted by the many traumas that we all face. When trauma happens, it threatens the integrity of our self. These traumas feel so terrible that we vow to never remember or re-experience them again. We actively drive them away from our minds and push down anything that might trigger these memories. IFS refers to these parts of us that we leave behind as exiles. During these traumatic events, everything about that moment is trapped in time. This includes our body reactions, emotions, actions, and urges, and what we...
Applejack, give me a second. I'm gonna bring you right on. Damn, you're running outside, eh?
Believe about ourselves. And even though we have vowed to never remember them, these exiles continue to call to us to return to them, release their burdens, and bring them into the present moment with us. As trauma...
Anyway, this is just to say, like, this is very similar to Gabor Mate's teachings, but this is a good explanation of why there's different voices in your head. It's basically what these guys teach is that when you're at your best, you're that self, clear, confident, courageous, That's like your true nature. But then it's the traumas that create these other characters in your head. It's very interesting. I don't know. I would love to hear what you guys think. And I would love to hear, Applejack, what you think of this. Applejack, how are you feeling about that right now? What are your thoughts so far?
I missed a lot of it because I was looking for the StreamYard.
Oh, okay, cool. StreamYard. Oh, okay, cool. Well, you're on now. What's up?
I have a question.
Oh, tell me.
All right. So, usually they tell you that you need to know all sides of the story. There's the his, hers, and the truth, right?
Yeah.
So, what do you think about Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and all these other sites banning RT from UE, from states in the UE?
Oh yeah, that sucks, man. I mean, I would call that escalation. I would call that escalation towards war. I would call that more divisiveness. Yeah, that sucks, man. I just saw about that. I saw I think Crystal Soccer put up a video, and I haven't seen that video yet, but man, it sucks, dude. It actually reminds me of canceling Joe Rogan. It's like you have military companies, then you have MSNBC, CNN, and they get a lot of their advertising money, kind of like the vaccine. They get a lot of advertising money from these military people. So it's almost like you scratch my back, I scratch your back. I'll sell your war. And then it almost seems like these guys are turning around and saying, hey, can you get rid of RT? Like, it's like one less competitor for me. That's kind of how I'm seeing it. That is a bit of a conspiracy, though. There's no way to know for sure if MSNBC and CNN, but I did hear that like the people at MSNBC and CNN are kind of like, yeah, get rid of them. Like, there's no sense of like camaraderie among journalists that like, hey, they were a journalistic outlet.
Well, the streaming platform Odyssey put out a tweet saying that governments were asking them to also ban RT.
You're cutting out a little bit. Hold up.
They believe that everybody should get a fair. Hold up.
Yeah, which streaming company was that?
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, I can hear you better.
I had to jump off the Wi-Fi. My fault.
I think the only thing we missed there was which streaming company. You said that some streaming company was called to remove RT, and then they responded by saying, we support RT's right to be here.
Governments were asking the streaming platform Odyssey to ban RT as well, but Odyssey did not decline that.
Well, let me show you some bad news right here. Oh, it's doom and gloom today, brother. It's doom and gloom today. Yeah.
It is, and it stems from a lot.
Yeah, I know. It's too bad. Everyone's like picking sides and doing this thing. And I know people that are just like Johnny Harris. I mean, I don't think Johnny Harris is getting paid by someone to say what he said. I know a lot of people that are just, that's how they feel. They're just like, well, I guess we got to go to war with Russia. Putin's evil. But you know, and then like, well, I guess we got to ban RT because Putin's evil. Russia's evil. Facebook owner Meta will block access to Russia's RT Sputnik in EU. So yeah, Meta, like I guess Facebook is blocking RT as well.
Oh yeah. Facebook blocked me for calling the Azov the N-word.
You called the Azov the N-word?
Yeah, and Facebook banned me for 30 days.
Wow. So you're not allowed to type it. It's interesting because in real life the rule is if you're black you can say it, but in the
No,
world,
not the N-word like that. I mean Nazi.
Oh, you use that word. Okay, cool. So you're not allowed to say even that word on Facebook?
I guess not, because I got banned for 30 days. That happened about 3 days ago.
Wow. And then who did you say it to though?
I was in one of those Facebook groups and I was having an argument because they were trying to say that President Zelensky's Jewish, so how could he be backing Nazis? And I tried to explain how I guess I said it anyway, but I tried to explain how Nazi Germany had Jews running the Luftwaffe and other battalions as well.
Yeah.
And then I also explained what the Azov battalion was. And that comment in itself, when it brought up the Azov, they that was pinged and they banned me for 30 days.
So you think it was pinged by Facebook, or do you think someone that you were talking to was like, I don't like what you said, you're banned?
No, it had to come straight from Facebook because it was instantaneous. As soon as I posted it, I got the ban.
Damn, dude. That sucks. Sorry to hear that.
No, it's all right. I mean, I'm mainly arguing with people on Twitter anyway.
Yeah, you know, one thing that I've been saying actually to some friends of mine too is like, you know, I mean, I don't know like how you feel about, tell me how you feel about this, or tell me if you think this would be an improvement or like better or worse for your life. But like, I try not to argue with people on the internet, you know? Like, do you find it to be fruitful? Do you not find that it just goes in circles and it's like maybe a wasted effort in the end, or how do you feel about it? Or is it something that you just get caught up, you know? You just get caught up and can't help it.
I'm in two ways with this, because like on Facebook, I actively go to groups to start arguments because I'll be bored and I'll just go over there and just start arguing with people on political groups. But on Twitter, it's more like I see things on TV or I read about things and I'll tweet it, and then other people jump on my tweet and start calling me names and stuff, and I just get caught up into the moment.
Right. Yeah, I mean, my buddy was having this issue with the truckers, and I was just saying like, and you know, I learned this a long time ago. Like when I was a kid, I learned this. I remember when I was a kid, me and my buddy got into like big films, like better filmmaking, and I turned into a snob and I started like telling people like, oh, you watched that movie? That movie's stupid. And then my buddy, he ran, I was with him and we ran into another guy, and then the guy named some stupid movie. And my buddy, who I know thinks like me, but while the other guy was around, it's kind of, you're going to think it's fake. But while the guy was around, he was like, oh, yo, that movie's sick. Big explosions. Cool. It just saves time. It's an efficiency thing. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying you have to be like Nazis, sick. I love them. You know what I mean? Or like whatever. Like, I'm not saying agree with that. But I do find some people are like, you know, I was talking about this actually maybe like last week or something. I remember this guy, I reposted something that insults right-wing people or whatever. This guy wrote a book. Like every time I open my Instagram, he has like 14 new messages. He's like a fan of the show too. There's like 14 new messages. There's like 4 new videos. I'm like, bro, I'm not reading these. I had to tell him like 2 or 3 times, I'm not reading. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to make like, I can't go down this rabbit hole of your conspiracy theory. You know what I mean? And yeah, but he just couldn't help himself. He's just so caught up in the argument. I do find it's a lot of that though. It's just people trying to get the right point, and it is like 2 egos just trying to like battle it out, and I don't find it to be productive. But
I feel like a lot of it is virtue signaling and trying to show, oh, I'm on this team instead of that team.
yeah,
You know, because like I spread a lot of what I learned about say like the Maidan coup or about the Minsk agreement and all the
these are all important
violations.
details. These are all
All the
important
violations.
details.
Yeah. But I'm not sitting here trying that when I say stuff like that, they automatically put me in a pro Putin group. And that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there's two sides that are acting aggressively, and they both sides need to stop. I think that Putin is starting an illegal war, but at the same time, it's like they say in 2014 when the Maidan coup happened, we kicked out a pro-Russian, democratically elected president to then put in a anti-Russian regime. But the whole point on that is, even though we're saying they were pro-Russian, Russia's initial stance was to keep Ukraine neutral. It's never been to, oh, I'm going to take over Ukraine. I understand Putin said that he wanted to bring back the graces of the Soviet Union, but what has Russia actually been doing though? You know what I mean? What they're actually been doing is showing that they want Ukraine to be neutral. They wanted weapons out of Ukraine. It's just like when Russia put weapons in Cuba. We didn't like that. We postured against that. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
How is that anything different from what Russia is doing to Ukraine?
I agree with you, man. And it is such a Eurocentric view, and it's so honestly, even the fact that they're not even called Europe, like I always, even as a kid, thought that's so racist. It's like, you are physically on the same continent. What is this Europe-Asia thing? They are Europe. You are all Europe. Like, we're all Europe. They do this. What is this divide? It's literally just like, this is where the civilized people are, and then this is where the savages are. So you are playing by different rules than us. So according to down, and I could feel it in myself too, even initially when I see anything, it's almost like you have this loyalty to America. I'm not even American, I'm Canadian, but there's almost this loyalty to America from Canadians that like, yeah, America does all that, but how dare Putin do it? Like, you're not allowed to do it. It's like we're such kiss asses to the great empire, and it is a great empire, and it is a great, like, a lesser evil, and like we want it to do well and we want it to survive. But this going down this road of escalating this war with Russia, I think this could be just so detrimental to America and to Americans too. You know what I mean? Like, it's in everyone's best interest not to fight.
Of course. First off, all these sanctions that are crippling the Russian economy, that's also going to pour into Europe. And when it pours into Europe, it's going to come to North America. And when you say you're not American, I'm going to give you a different way of looking at it. America to me is a continent instead of just a country. The country that we call America is the United States of America. You know what I mean? Whereas America in itself is just a continent. Okay. So technically, you're still American.
Yeah. No, listen. This is one God's green earth. I mean, we are all children of the Most High God. That's how the Buddha teaches us to think about it. That's how Jesus says it too. We should be looking at each other and ourselves as children, even as we get older. Hohenheim is also here, everyone. Hohenheim, what's up, man? I see you, buddy. Yeah, jump in here, man. How do you feel about this? Which are you on the same thinking as us, or do you think like it's time to go to war?
No. I mean, when I was involved in politics, as in when I kept up on politics and believed the rhetoric and the propaganda and everything else that comes out on a daily basis, I was very much pro Ron Paul. So I'm very non-interventionalism.
Yeah, I used to love Ron Paul, man. Ron Paul was the truth. For a minute, Rand Paul, not so much. He's good too, I think. You don't like him?
No, he's good. He's just not his father.
Yeah, Ron Paul is consistent all the way through. You know, he's amazing.
Yeah, I went in really hard behind Ron Paul for 2 consecutive presidential races,
That's
all
great,
over
man.
Indiana. Really, I was in charge of the grassroots movement for most of Indiana.
Owenheim, you're involved in the community. That's great, man. That's great.
Yeah. Like I was, for a solid 6 years, I was like the face of the Libertarian Party for the state of Indiana, giving talks on non-interventionalism and grassroots movement and everything else.
He was
like that.
great. The only thing that I didn't agree was the healthcare thing, but it was a very unfortunate soundbite when he was at the Republican. I'm sure you know about this, but it's such a famous soundbite where they're like, it's honestly, he's not wrong when he says this though. But they asked him the question like, okay, so what if someone doesn't have healthcare? What happens to them? And he goes, well, then they die. And the crowds, like some people started cheering in the crowd. It was not a good look for him, but
right. No, but the thing is that it's the reality of it. You know what I mean? That's what he's speaking to. It's like, look, if you can't afford healthcare, like, I mean, if you're shot on the street and no one takes you to the hospital, you're probably going to die. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course.
And that is why I think that the whole insurance system is a scam in itself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I did find that weird about him. I never quite understood why he didn't get on board with healthcare, because healthcare seems to work in other countries, and insurance is a scam. But if the government it's one of the, I know government's so inefficient at so many things, but we look at it in Europe, Canada, Australia, like all these countries have better healthcare. It costs less money. It's efficient. The insurance companies, they don't have a chance to be scams. Like in America, this half capitalist system is almost built to turn them into scams. I feel like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, and part of that because we are only one of 2 countries that even allows us to actually advertise drug companies. We're only one of 2 countries in the entire world, us and New Zealand. In New Zealand, it's very, very strict on their policies when it comes to drug advertising. Very straight to the point and forward about what you're saying, what you're selling, what your drug actually does. For us, we can show people being happy and healthy, and it raises a million different questions. There's too much, again, money or materialism, because I mean, on the back end of money, what comes down to that is materialism as to what we actually are getting from all that money in the first place. Like, that's the biggest problem with it, But like,
I mean,
Ukraine,
exactly. Because we pay into all this money into the insurance companies, and what do? First off, it's hard to even get in contact with them, and then on top of that, they just overburden the free care system anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. We're paying in case things will happen when we know that they will happen eventually. And then at the end of the day, we end up having to fight for what we paid for in the first place. It's the most backwards system for services that we have in the United States, basically. But yeah, like it's interesting because out of the perspectives here on Ukraine, I'm incredibly conflicted because as a Ron Paul supporter, I've always been very non-interventionalist. So the libertarian part of me is saying, look, like, it's not our problem. Don't get involved. It'll start World War III. At the same time, like, I'm so infuriated that Putin gets to pick on Ukraine. Like, I've never, even during the war on terrorism, I mean, when I was 13 and the 2 towers were attacked, okay, I was livid and wanted to join the military. But it wasn't soon after that when I realized that we weren't going to war to protect American citizens. We were going to war to protect American interests. And I very quickly changed my tune on it. With this, I'm like, I just can't stop thinking. It's the empathetic part of me. I can't stop thinking about the people in Ukraine. I'm 33 years old, and I want to go fight against Russia because they're being bullies. At the same time, how hypocritical is that of me? There's 194 countries in the world, and we're in like 143. Literally, we have ground troops in 143 countries around the world.
Yeah,
what kind of
and right up against Russia too, and right in their backyard with Iraq and Syria. Like, they did airstrikes on Syria. The Russians backed, I think, the Syrians when that happened. This is all unacceptable anywhere near America. Not acceptable ever in a million years.
No, we're the world's largest terrorists. We are.
That is true, but I also, the way I view it in itself, Noam Chomsky said that the object of NATO is not to defend against Russian expansion. The object of NATO is to control the world's energy. I don't feel like so much Russia is being a bully, whereas I disavow the illegal war that he's starting, but I feel like it's Russia being pushed into a corner. There's two sides of the coin, and they're trying to say, no, it's not the Western aggression. It's the aggression coming from Russia, but it started with Western aggression.
Yes, yeah, right. Of course, like it's almost in a broader sense, our fight for resources all the way back to Vietnam. Okay, started this way before we ever stepped foot on any foreign soil. Like, and it's the truth. Like, and that was why it was so important that we still try to understand the mindset of what Putin's going through, because from a political standpoint, he does have, there's logic behind his logic.
100%, man. He's been saying it for 6 years.
Yeah,
I mean, we're being very hypocritical. Putin said it himself. They're searching for WMDs. I know he was saying it jokingly, but it's like right now we're sitting here condemning Russia from invading. Meanwhile, we're sitting here and occupying Syria.
Yeah,
I just think that's the greatest thing for Putin to be like, "Hey, man, we're looking for weapons of mass destruction, just like you guys did."
That's so funny.
Love that.
Did he say that?
Yeah, he did say that.
It's so great. It's so great. Way to kick America right in the balls. Like,
yeah. The Russians, like the Russians, whether it's Putin or like Zelensky or whatever, like they're the comedian is the politician, and they're kind of doing it at the same time. That other guy, the other guy who's like poisoned and in jail now, he was like that too. But that's such a troll from Putin. You know, don't worry, weapons of mass destruction. Oh my god, dude, that's so funny.
And it's just so messed up because like going back to my question with RT, it's so messed up because now we're being forced to only listen to Western media and the propaganda coming from Western media. Like when they said a Russian tank shot a Ukrainian apartment building just to find out it was a Ukrainian tank, or when they said 13 soldiers bravely died in Snake Island when it turned out to be 86 soldiers and they're alive and well.
They're alive and well, yeah. But who put that out? You're saying that that's from the Ukraine side that put that out?
Because the Ukrainians put that out, that it was about Snake Island. The Ukrainians put out, and Western media in itself put out about the apartment building being shot by a Russian tank, and they also put out a video of a Ukrainian man kissing his daughter before he went out to war. Turns out it's a Ukrainian man from the Donbass.
Yeah, that
going to fight against the Azov battalion.
Is that not okay? So is the Donbass, is that the Nazi side? Because there is this
no,
whole
the Donbass.
I haven't even touched.
The Donbass is the Russian-speaking Ukrainians that wanted to separate away from Ukraine ever since the Maidan coup, and they were considered Ukrainians up until Russia now just recognized them as a separate country, but the entire time, the whole 8 years from the Minsk agreement, when they agreed to stop bombing the Donbass, up until now, where they continue to do it anyway and kill 14,000 people, many of which were civilians, they are all Russian-speaking Ukrainians.
Wow.
And we talk about how Putin's so evil. Bill Clinton helped get Putin into power.
Yeah. And Bill Clinton did a whole bombing raid over there. Have you guys ever seen the movie Wag the Dog? Do you guys know Wag the Dog?
Oh, yeah. Very familiar with it. Yeah.
Let's see the trailer for it. It's actually a really funny movie, but it's basically a movie about Bill Clinton bombing, like, I think because he was having sex with Monica Lewinsky or something, and so he just started bombing Syria. I forget. Let's look at the trailer.
But the actual movie though is about how a propaganda campaign, right, is spun to draw attention away from that. Well, this is what's so interesting. You know, I mean, So for those of you who don't know, I do a podcast called The Get to the Point Review. Amisha's been on it. He was like episode 2. He's a freaking champion and awesome.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, well, we had talked about at one point in time political movies. And what was the recurring theme with every movie that was on our list is how completely relevant the message from political comedies and dramas from then still are today. Like,
yeah, 100%.
Propaganda on rampant. It's just insane.
Yeah, no, it works, man. I mean, it works. And then these are just repeating issues. Like, I can't believe that John Mersheimer talk is from 6 years ago. It's a talk called why Ukraine is the West's fault, or why the West is to blame for Ukraine. It's from 6 years ago. So it's not like these things don't, like, these things repeat. And then you realize, like, things like Crimea, things like Afghanistan, people have been fighting over it for like 1,000 years. It's like goes back to Alexander the Great. And I think Crimea is one of those spots too. It's just a strategic hotspot. Same thing with the Khyber Pass in Pakistan. It's been 1,000 years of like people have been fighting and dying on that spot. It's just a tough spot.
And the whole thing about that with Afghan and all these places is that we say that we're spreading democracy, but these places already had democratically elected leaders. We came and deposed that.
NATO has no
regimes
right.
in charge.
Yeah, no.
Even
we're
Russia,
spreading
technically.
McDonald's. We're spreading McDonald's and Federal Reserve banks. That's the only thing we're spreading. That's it.
Yeah,
exactly.
War machine, man. It is time for another love revolution. If we cannot go to war again. This has to be like another. It's going to be like Vietnam, like 70s. Like 70s was a peace, like a love movement. I think this Russia thing will have to inspire that, because it's the only, if they go to war, it's going to be insane, man. I mean, the nukes is, Putin's saying that he doesn't want, I mean, he said he doesn't want to, but then there's other generals that say like, what is the world without Russia? Like, if we die, why not take everyone else out too? That's kind of the mentality with a lot of people, India, Pakistan too. But
that's one thing that they're saying all the time, because they talk about Russia making nuclear threats, but we made nuclear threats first.
Totally, man.
You know what's interesting is something you said, Amish, about how there needs to be another love revolution. This is the most, I mean, one of the most positive things that I feel that can come out of the wokeism thing is that it can definitely morph into a love revolution, because all we need to do is refine it. The problem is that we're attacking people as though we don't have faults ourselves. You know what I mean? So like we have cancel culture sort of meshing with this whole wokeism. And that's the real problem, because cancel culture is bad in itself just because of the way we approach things. You can't cancel people because of one mistake. That's what makes us grow as human beings.
I said yesterday too, canceling people is toxic masculinity, I think. By definition, that's the toxic masculinity. That's like a negative thing that men would do, that we had to stop, keep men from doing shit like that. And then other people do it too. Sorry, go ahead.
As a Jimmy Dore leftist, I just have to say, you don't cancel people with bad speech. You give more good speech. That's how you combat it.
Yeah, agreed, man. Same with Joe Rogan, man.
Right.
It's like you think he's being so stupid. Just do your, I mean, there could be a banger podcast that just debunks Joe Rogan. On this channel, dude, we've had one video where Steven talks some shit about Joe Rogan. It's our highest performing video. Like, this is a market. It's an opportunity. Like, just get on it. I mean, just get on it and be like, okay, debunk here. And actually, some people are. There's some great doctors who just say like, so here's this, all the dumb shit Joe Rogan said this week, all the bro science he engaged in. They do a list. I've seen them and they have good hits. I mean, that's all you can do, really. You're never going to like make everyone stop talking.
Right. Well, and this is what's interesting to me is that the whole point, I mean, I feel like so many people miss the point of Joe Rogan. It's to start that dialogue. He has those conversations so that doctors who know better will come out and post a video about why he's wrong. Like, that's the whole point, is to start a dialogue. So people are attacking someone who's essentially playing devil's advocate 24/7. You know what I mean? Like, you know, if you listen to his podcast, he always comes into it like, I don't know anything. You know what I mean? Unless you're talking.
He's so humble, man. He apologized too. That's so nice that he apologized.
It's true though, but at the same time, it's true though, but at the same time, you also got to look at. There's no doctors that can come out and speak the truth. CDC in itself has been hiding 10,000 pages of data that they have. We get all of our information from Israel. You know what I mean? We don't know anything about COVID. All of our stuff is outdated.
Yeah, that sucks, man. And we have like a TV. We have like a TV, like all these TV companies because it's America, they're getting paid by the pharmaceutical companies that are trying to sell us these vaccines. So listen, I'm not vax hesitant at all. I got my booster right away. I'll probably just get the fourth one because I don't feel any bad effects of it. So I don't give a shit. I'll take it. The science looks legit on it. But I 100% understand vaccine hesitancy. I mean, there's a legitimate reasons for it. It's not just you're so stupid. It's like these corporations are controlling our media.
Exactly. That's the whole you're either with us or against us mentality. If you are hesitant about taking the vaccine, then you're anti-vax. Most of the people they're labeling as anti-vax, I have not heard them say, oh, don't take the vaccine. I've just heard them say their concerns for the vaccine. They call Jimmy Dore anti-vax. He got vaccinated and caught long COVID. That's why he got hesitant over it.
So
you know, if you put out more information, you're gonna figure things out.
You got to figure things out. So Jimmy Dore actually was on Joe Rogan, and Jimmy Dore's pretty wild. Actually, we should talk about him in a second. But he was on Joe Rogan, and he's talking about how like he took it. He tweeted that like, "Hey, I took the vaccine. It kind of hurt my neck." He's saying that a bunch of fucking lefties started yelling at him on Twitter, and then he had to explain to them that like, listen, doctors want this feedback. Doctors are taking this feedback and they're improving the vaccine with it. They're figuring out new stuff. I'm not just out here just spouting like, he didn't even say don't take the vaccine. He just said, I took the vaccine, my neck kind of hurts. And everyone's like, you idiot, you're going to create hesitancy, no one's going to take it. It's like,
and this is where cancel culture goes overboard. Like, because I've got 4 degrees. None of them are in film whatsoever. All right. But my BS is in biology. And one of the very first things they teach you in any biology class is that the reason why we're learning this in the first place is because everybody's going to have a different reaction. Everybody. So that piece of data, whether it's negative or positive, is important for scientists, for people who are creating gene therapies. Like, this is all important information. Trying to cancel somebody because they had a bad reaction is just stupid. I mean, and what, like, my mind keeps coming back to what this comes down to is an indictment of the American educational system. But I mean, really, it's everywhere. Okay, but because I'm an American, that's what I'm exposed to the most. So that's what I recognize. I mean, there's a reason why the bell curve, so many of us don't realize how stupid 100 IQ is. That's the average, bro. Like, most of the people you meet, bam, holy shit. We're struggling.
Do y'all think that America, are we seeing like a downfall of the American empire, or do you think it's like a little hiccup?
As much as you want to say that we're not, there are so many parallels to take a look at history. I mean, you know, those who don't study history or fail to repeat it, right?
Yeah.
Like, we're repeating it as far as like the Roman Empire goes. You know, like 10 years ago when we were first, well, I mean, not when we were first, I guess 20 years ago. Jesus Christ, time. When we were first entering the war on terror, okay?
Yeah. Wow, it's been 20 years, eh? I remember when they started that. I was, it does feel like we're doing that right now, though. It feels very similar. The similar kind of CNN, MSNBC, all getting on board, all like, okay, we got to go. It does seem one-sided. As much as, and we've said this 100 times, as much as like Putin's actions are so wrong, and we support the people of Ukraine, obviously, but like, just it seems like the war machine is getting ramped up, and that worries me. Yeah, but you were saying about the war in Iraq, though, is 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's just like that's. I mean, I forget what I was saying about it, but yeah, like it's just crazy to think about, I guess. Maybe
that is not the love revolution, man. We need it. The Iraq didn't build that love revolution the way Vietnam did. I wasn't there for Vietnam, but I heard Vietnam had a true love revolution, and the psychedelics are back now.
Yes.
Maybe Iraq didn't have that, but now the psychedelics are back. So it almost does seem, because that for me, especially now that I'm doing like loving kindness meditation, but all these like psychedelics, the psychedelics are always teaching you is that we're actually here to play and have fun with each other. We're not supposed to fight. We're actually animated by that source energy coming in here, right here. You can see behind me. And we're not supposed to fight. And it does seem like maybe now is the time. And it's great. I've heard some great activists talk about this. Some peace activists that are like, you got to get out there and you got to tell the people that they are tricking you. And because you just need more and more people to understand it. But at the same time, not like yell at people, you know, like just have the understanding for everyone. Because it is so quick to like get into a fight with someone, to just be like, as soon as someone says, even someone was saying to us about like they're just very like, Putin's evil, you know what I mean? Well, we got to do something. Putin's evil, and it's like, you're gonna start World War III. Like, what are you, stupid? But even that, we got to watch it, and we just got to say, like, you know, this is where he's coming from, or this is what the situation is. Why can't Biden just call him? So tell me this though, you guys, and for anyone in the audience, did anyone see the Biden speech that he just did? And what is he? Because that is State of the Union. So is he saying he wants to go, or is he saying like not going? Do you guys know?
Just because I don't have to type, I did not see it. Like ever since I left the Ron Paul campaign, like basically 2012.
Well, it is depressing for you, eh?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not depressing so much as I gave up and I decided that the best way to pursue freedom was to live free or die myself and live by example. You know what I mean? So it was like, damn what the laws or what politicians are doing. Like, the best way for me to make an impact, same way as a Christian, you know what I mean? Like Michael Jackson, man in the mirror, you know what I mean? You got to start by focusing on yourself. And if you can improve yourself, the world gets better. Like, that's the one thing you control, whether it's not how you approach a situation or a problem or anything. So
that is what the loving kindness teachings are. Actually, they basically teach that, like, when you are living at a higher vibration, people around you are kind of like uplifted, and when you're negative, people around you are kind of brought down. I was telling someone this, like, when you're talking to someone who's really miserable, and really people who want to fight all the time are deeply miserable, but so I include them too. But when you're talking to people that are really sad, when you start talking to them, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but it's almost like when you get in the conversation, it's either like you're going to make them happy or they're going to make you sad. And that's it. So you almost got to come in and uplift them. And if it's almost like your job, your karma is to uplift the community. It naturally, like whoever you're working with or whoever you got to deal with, you have to find some collaborative outcome that's beneficial for both of you. But the people that are stuck in that way of thinking, that think like everyone's out to get me, there's a fight and like I got to watch or whatever, they're just going to bring you down. Otherwise, they're going to piss you off. They're going to get you caught up in a fight and yelling and all kinds of stuff, you know?
I just saw, I'm sorry, in the chat, Trillin McMillan said, Michael Jackson, LOL, terrible example. We're talking about the music, not his life, bro.
Man in the mirror.
Yeah.
Man in the mirror, dude.
Yeah. Specifically that song. There was a reason why I referenced that song and not his Years at Neverland. Okay.
Yeah. Wrong kind of loving kindness. No, that's not loving kindness. That's terrible. No, for sure.
Because,
so sad,
just like we were talking about, focus on, like, when you come into a conversation, if you're focusing on the positive, you know, pretty much every religion sort of teaches this, but, you know, naturally from a Christian, it goes back to Christian teachings about how, you know, when you focus on what's positive, when you focus on, I've been drinking tequila. Yay!
Sick.
Philippians. I can't remember exactly. I want to say 4:18, Philippians 4:18, where it's talking about when you focus on things that are good, and that's what comes into your life. You know what I mean? It's almost sort of manifestation. What's the law of attraction? Almost law of attraction.
It is almost law of attraction. The problem with law of attraction is that they turn it into like a get rich quick a little bit. Whereas I think this is very much like positive psychology.
Right.
And even the thing I was showing you guys about the internal family systems, Buddhist teaching is like this, Christ consciousness is like this. They basically teach in Christ consciousness that the kingdom of heaven is in you. And the way to get it is forgive yourself, forgive everyone else, because basically every bitterness that you hold is another pulling you down in your consciousness. So every little bitterness that you have, every little grudge that you're carrying, it's another 5-10% of energy lost on this beefing. And it's almost like taking energy away from you. There's a Reverend Michael Beckwith talks about this. He basically says that, like, when you're really sad or when you're in a dark place, the world becomes this big. You don't see options. You don't see solutions. You just see a fight. You just see like there's darkness. There's some people out to get me. And when you're up in that high vibration, then you see the truth, and it's all like a loving kindness. There's options. There's a collaborative, joyful, net benefit option just sitting right in front of you, but you just couldn't see it, And that's the thing with war. War is like such a great example of that. It's like really the deepest kind of grudge and the deepest kind of trauma playing out, because really all it takes is a phone call. It's just put your ego down. That's it. Just call and say, hey, we shouldn't have done that in NATO. Hey, we should have gave you a couple of shout outs for your job in World War II. You guys saved our asses in World War II. And what have we given you from that? Just from the second it ended. And if you watch have you guys seen the movie Patton? It's a great movie. It's like this general, but incredible movie. The actor is so funny too. He's like a comedy actor, I feel like, but because he's such a silly character. But they get to the end of World War II. What's that?
Comedy's all around us.
Comedy's all around us, man. I mean, as I say, God writes the best jokes. But yeah,
he really does.
He really does. But you get to the end of World War II, and he's such a kook, that guy, that they're just like, all right, time to go home. And he's like, go home? Are you kidding me? We can get the Ruskies. We get two more nukes, two more of this. We can get a drop on them. Let's go. And he just wants to go and fight them. And they showed in the movie too. He really sets this tone of like, now they're the enemy. It didn't have to be like that. They could have like a friendship union instead of a fighting union.
But they can't do that though. Biden can't pick up the phone and talk to Putin, because what I believe is the end game is, as Noam Chomsky said, is to own the energy. We couldn't allow the pipelines to be made and filter out Germany with Russian oil. We couldn't allow any of that. And for all this talk about Trump was Putin's puppet, Trump was putting sanctions on that pipeline. Biden's the one who took the sanctions off.
Yeah. This whole Trump is Putin's puppet too. That's why all these liberals are into it too. This is so like, this is where you just can't, you have to worry about it too much now, where it's like, because they invested in all this Russiagate shit that turned out to be, I mean, just the fact that Hillary Clinton's lawyer is now, I think he's being indicted for planting evidence on that whole thing. Like the whole idea that the Russians are like, that Trump is a Russian plant. It's just like their egos are tied to it. The Democratic Party is almost tied to it. And I think if you're a Democrat and you don't toe that line, like people get mad. I can't, there's some people, there's no amount of evidence I can show them. They just don't want to hear it. Kind of like Fauci made the virus. There's some people I can't tell. Like I tell them, they're like, "Well, you're just getting silly now." I have to like it takes a half hour of like, okay, let's watch a video, let's watch another thing, let's read this article. It takes like I got to sit for half an hour before I can get some people. They're not coming through on it,
And this is why I left politics, is because at the end of the day, people believe what they want to believe. You know what I mean? Like that's just what it comes down to. People believe what they want to believe, whether it's religion, politics, how they're living their life, whether they're right or wrong. Like they're just solidified in their opinions. And so like, and like it's funny how when you work in politics, you feel like the only way is to argue the facts, but like no one, there's always, you catch more flies with honey rather than, what is it? Vinegar. Something to that effect. It's like, it's the truth. It's totally 100% the truth.
That is the truth. And Rumi has incredible poetry, and he basically says raise your words, not your voice. It is rain that grows flowers, not thunder. It's true. I mean, he has great quotes like that, but people, they just don't see it like that. They're just stuck in their fight. So I don't know, it's gonna be interesting. Cherry picking your way into homicidal ideation. Raziel the Great is ripping right now. Trillion McMillian, what's up?
Sorry, I had like Canadian connection for a second.
No worries, man. Look at my Canadian connection, solid the whole way through.
So
Hohenheim, you look different from before. Did you lose weight or something?
The jacket, and I came from out back because I'm done smoking.
Oh, sick. No, but Hohenheim, I was saying it's been a good year since I did your podcast.
Yeah, I've lost weight. Yeah.
Yeah, you did lose weight. I remember Hohenheim Productions being like, I thought you were. Yeah, I didn't think you were.
I was.
Right now.
I was closer to the. I was closer to slightly obese last time we talked. I had picked up COVID-19 as far as pounds wise, right? Yeah. You
had the COVID-19. Is it, you know, they had the freshman 15? It's like, I got the COVID-19.
That's what I call it, the COVID-19.
Did we just coin that? I can't believe nobody said that.
No, I've been hearing that for a year. That's where I picked it up.
Okay.
I picked off a meme a long time ago.
Look at me trying to take credit for these
I
jokes.
I can't see the chat, but I see the chats that you pin up. And I see Raziel the Great saying that Hillary lost and she could not accept it. And they literally came up with Russiagate. And the funny thing about that is what we end up finding out is that Hillary Clinton's surrogates and contractors were routinely meeting up with Russians. You know what I mean? So you're talking about Russiagate with Trump, but it actually falls the other way.
You always become your enemy. Even this NATO, the fact that NATO is built to stop Soviet expansion, it's like, no, you are expanding. They have not made one bit of expansion. I mean, this on Ukraine is actually really bad expansion, really bad attack that they've done. Georgia too, Crimea too. But you guys are the ones who keep pushing and pushing and pushing. I guess you just always become your enemy.
It's funny how they always fall back on Georgia and Crimea when we had Libya and Yemen and Afghanistan and Iraq and parts of Africa. We literally went all over Europe and other continents. We were in Venezuela. We were in South America. We literally, we're not the world police. We're the world bully.
Yeah. It's time to bring these troops home. There's too much of it.
We're the world's terrorists, man. I feel like I've been saying that for 12 years. We are definitely the world's terrorists.
It's not if you're on, I call it the white side, it's good. But if you're on the brown side, Asian side, and Russian counts in that too. Russia is a second-class citizen. They are maybe treated the nicest because they're so big and powerful. But if you're Middle East, if you're East Asian, whatever, it's just not you're just getting a second-class citizen treatment. You're not playing by the same rules. You could be attacked anytime. Your government can be overthrown every time. Anytime. And Africa, South America.
Even if you're Hispanic, I was born in New York, but I'm of Dominican descent, and DR feels it. You know what I mean? Venezuela feels it. Salvador feels it. You know what I mean? We're literally going around and saying, hey, we're the superpower, and the second you start to get great, we kick you down. And the whole funny thing about COVID is we kept all this vaccine or whatever they want to call it to ourselves, and we didn't give them out to all these poor countries. And now Cuba comes out, and Cuba comes up with their own vaccine, and they're just handing it out to everyone around the world. Cuba is one of the highest vaccinated countries around.
No, and that's where Bill Gates really sold out, man, because Bill Gates, that vaccine, the American vaccine, it was made with public funding. And it was Bill Gates who said, no, we can't just give it out. And it was in such a crucial moment that people are saying that it might have caused the lives of at least 200,000 people. Just meaningless greediness of no, we can't just give out the vaccine kind of thing.
Yeah, I like that pinned comment right there from Raziel the Great. Obama and his drone program. Here's a statistic to you. Did you know that Obama dropped a bomb every 20 minutes for 8 years?
Really?
Wow.
That's how many bombs Obama dropped.
I was about to say that I wanted to specify. I've heard that statistic. It's the average as compared
average. Literally every 20 minutes.
Yeah. This is what's interesting, though. I mean, so as someone who fought for Ron Paul for such a long time, after leaving politics, what I don't hate, but what I really dislike about most politic talks is that we're so quick to blame it on somebody. Obama was just doing the same fucking thing that Bush was doing, man.
Yep. Trump did the same thing Obama was doing.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Right, right. Like,
But
you
I
know,
do think the left deserves more blame because they sell themselves like they do sell themselves as people who love like they're supposed to be fighting against it. Now the Republicans do it because they believe in it, maybe. The Democrats are just doing it because they're weak and spineless, but they're still doing it. It's like you're supposed to be the counter voice to this. They're supposed to carry the prison system, whatever. But now we have both parties doing it. Like Democrats are doing prison system,
right?
They're pushing for prison system. They're pushing for war. They're pushing for everything. So it's like, what's the point of this Democratic Party? There's no left-wing left really in America.
Right, and the reason why that spine falls through is because they're being funded by both sides. Like it's just two sides of the same coin. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
Yeah. That's why it seems spineless to us. But it really just comes down to who's putting money where.
I mean, look at Obama when he was running. Look at Obama when he was running. He was talking about he was talking about open healthcare and all the grassroots things that everybody was arguing about. So was Nancy Pelosi. Soon as they get in there, the money starts flowing in. The military-industrial complex starts taking over.
Huge. 60% of our fucking budget, like the whole budget of our entire country. I mean, at least
60% is military. I thought it was like 20.
I mean, feel free to
unofficial numbers. They know how to hide it.
Yeah, but
what's
like
the official numbers.
I know that. Yeah, but like from when I was in politics, I feel like nothing's changed. So it's a leap for me to assume that the numbers are the same. But back then, 60% of our budget was defense. And how many actual fucking enemies does the U.S. have? Like what? When it comes down to it, the enemies in the U.S. are fucking, poor people the way we treat people. You know what I mean? With the systemic racism, poor people are our fucking enemy. Okay, in USA. So all of this shit across seas is just protecting our interests. It's bullshit.
Yeah, and you got these military contracts. You just got to keep them rolling. Like when you think of who's in NATO, I would say you have that military mentality. Like when World War I started, it was the same thing. It was like these princes and princesses, like they don't want to fight. Like they just think that's so horrific. It's the military generals that are using the contracts, these little things, to make some excuse to go fight. They like to fight. So you have that, and then you have financial interest. Then you got a religious push too. You do have some Christian fundamentalists, maybe you could call them, that are trying to fight, that think that we got to destroy the Middle East so that Jesus can come back. So
take a second to laugh about that for just a second, because Jesus wasn't white, and we've got a bunch of white people fighting for what's actually either Middle Eastern or Black Egyptian. Like fucking idiots, man. I can't stand American Jesus. What? There's no bigger farce in the whole world than a white Jesus.
Jesus is great. His teachings are so peaceful. He's amazing. He'd be so pissed if he knew that they were doing this.
No, yeah, he'd be so pissed.
Yeah.
The bull whipping in the temple, that is like minimal Jesus actual like, how the way he would feel about it. And I have a lot of Muslim friends too, and like they still respect Jesus. He's a prophet of Islam. You know what I mean? Like even though they believe that he pulled a special Jesus maneuver where it was a body double that died and was buried for 3 days.
Yeah, I know. My friends used to fight about that. My Christian and my Muslim friend would fight, and they would try to take him on their team. And then I would tell them about some Hindu thing, and they'd be like, hey, the real religions are talking. They wouldn't want to hear any Hindu. They'd be like, come on with your Hindu stuff, with your Ganesh.
And this is what's funny, is that the people that I feel like want to end up debating the differences between religion completely forget the common ground, which is always charity, love. Always. All religions. I don't care who you subscribe to. Like,
listen, I'm going to show you guys a slide from my class, but keep going.
No, that's all. It's like
while you're getting that slide ready, I just wanted to announce I'm only bilingual. I only speak Spanish and English, but I do know some Hindi words. I've learned them from a scammer that was yelling at me, from a Microsoft scammer who taught me some swear words in Hindi.
Yo, rip them, dude. I don't think the algorithm is sophisticated enough to catch that.
I've heard Mother Chode. I've heard Ben Chode. I've heard Chutia. Maki Taki Choi or something like that, or Taki Maki Choi.
Taki Maki Choi. Yeah. No, these are all. I mean, generally, the interesting thing about India is that they're so respectful that they won't say motherfucker. They'll go sister fucker.
Yeah.
So respectful of a culture. You can't go to the mom. Like mom is for
that
like,
real?
you got to do some real shit.
Is that real? There's no motherfucker.
That's real.
Bencho is
Oh, that's so great.
Bencho the sister fucker. So the bencho is like the standard, and then if you did some crazy shit, then they go to mom. They won't go
mother
to mom.
chode.
for any
I'll be like, you mother chode.
too much respect. They have too much respect. They have too much love for the mom. That's the thing.
Honestly, I love that. That is so great. That it's like I will call you a sister fucker before I call you a motherfucker.
Yeah, I definitely learned that, and I used Google to learn what it meant. So I think Chutia is like idiot or something like that, and then Bencho is sister fucker, and I forget what the Taki Maki Choi means.
I think you're getting like it's like Teri Madi.
Yeah, Teri Madi Choi. That's what it is.
It's basically Teri Madi Chut or something. I think it means your mom's vaginal entry. So that's a weird that Chut I think is like vaginal. It's like the dirtiest. It's weird. It's like they have that's what happens in India, man. They repress it. I gotta show you guys a video of these, like in Jainism, they have naked Babajis. So they go bless these women's things, and they're completely naked. And I remember we have some aunties over, and I'm telling them and my mom, like, this is why you guys need to be more open about sexuality. Like, you suppress it, and then it's coming out in these silly shit where they just come over naked, like the dick's out, dude, in front of everyone. And my mom hit me. She was like, "You have no respect." But anyway, this chart basically shows that. So if you on the outside, like every religion is represented here. On the outside it's almost like the closer you go to the center, the more advanced the teachings. So in every religion, when you get to the middle, like you have Taoism, right? So they believe in this Tao energy. It's a pure loving kindness energy. It's the same energy that's animating all of us. But then even in Islam, Allah means like they don't believe in like a guy. They believe in like this energy, this like love energy. Then there's Logos. Insaf means infinity. Brahman is like they're all basically like, and then even Buddhism, they say void. Like they're basically trying to tell you like to think of nothing. But then if you sit in that nothingness, you realize all the nothingness is also a loving kindness energy. Like it's like nothing in the sense that you don't. Like there's no thoughts. It's just pure blissfulness. But
it's interesting. It's like when you get down to the base of it, the only thing that still exists is love. You know?
Yeah.
What's under Bhagavad Gita? Because like I could only see Raziel's Raziel the Great.
Bhagavad Gita is Hinduism. That's Hinduism down there. Hold on.
Oh, that's what it is.
Cool. Yeah, I can see that one.
Can you see it now? Yeah. But Bhagavad Gita is like a very conservative teaching, in my opinion. I mean, it's basically a Hindu. The Bhagavad Gita is like a speech before like a war in Hinduism. So even Hinduism, these Tantra teachings, Tantra is basically like a loving kindness teaching. And my teacher, he basically calls it heart-centered. So he basically says that the more advanced teachings are love-centered. And then the lower level basic teachings in all the religions, this is across the board, they actually become about like fighting and stuff. So the Bhagavad Gita, like if you go here, the Tantric and the Brahman, that's all like loving kindness energy, loving kindness. Like they have these things called like Bhakti Yoga where like you have to love everyone. They have practices like this. Singing and dancing is actually a big part of this. And if you look at Islam, they have Sufism. Sufism, their main meditation is like this spinning dance. It's supposed to be incredible.
And they sing too in Islam. They sing. They sing. You know, they sing the Quran.
Yeah, fucking beautiful. Holy crap!
Sufi teachings themselves are incredible. Like Sufi mystics they have banger poetry. Well, Rumi, I said one earlier. Rumi has incredible poetry, but their poetry is about how like you are one with God and God loves you and you are the beloved and you are dancing in the dance of the beloved. Like it's all stuff like that. And it's all, I'd say, a heart-centered approach. And all abhor violence. Like violence is unacceptable. And yeah, these are the more advanced teachings, though. As you go into the center, it becomes more about loving kindness. And as you get further from that, because you're traumatized, whatever issues, it becomes more about fighting. So the bottom one is Hinduism. Bhagavad Gita, it is basically a speech. In my opinion, it's basically war propaganda because Hinduism has a caste system, and this is basically the war epic. It's called Mahabharata, which literally translates to Game of Thrones, essentially. But the Hindu Game of Thrones, it is the upper class using the poor people to take over the South,
propel themselves. Yeah.
Basically to like set themselves up as like the upper class forever and to kind of brainwash everyone else into supporting this caste system. So I don't really agree with that. I'm sure Christianity has very similar stuff too, but that would all be in the last ring, which is really furthest from God. So yeah, the closer you go, they all become like a loving kindness teaching.
This is what's interesting about I noticed two things about that chart that you were showing. So one is that when I was like 17, kind of right before I got into Ron Paul, I was studying Buddhism because I'd grown from the time I was like 8, I was an atheist. When I was like 17, my friends essentially talked me out of being an atheist and to being to essentially and opening myself to something more spiritual than the agonizing, deplorable world that we were going to just end up in the dirt. Okay. So I decided I'm going to open myself to that and started studying Buddhism. Most of the American books that I have on Buddhism basically merge Buddhism and Taoism rather than separating them as two separate religions. And that I just realized that looking at this chart, and that infuriates the hell out of me. I'm like, what the hell, man? Like, I couldn't get a.
I'm going to tell you something that's going to make you feel a lot better about that in a second. But go ahead.
Okay. No, I was just saying because in my mind, as an American, I was studying Buddhism. Come to find out, I was studying both of them and sort of like a migration. Somewhere in between the two of them. It just infuriates me because it delegitimizes what I believe I knew about Buddhism. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing:
like when you realize you're an idiot.
No. Don't be so hard on yourself, dude. Because here's what happened with Buddha. Here's the thing: we are in a Western paradigm, right? So we look at Christianity and Islam as our baseline examples. When these two religions met, they fought from day one. They haven't stopped fighting.
And I understand.
A percentage of our wars to this day is coming from that. And you could say Islam might have even been built out of the trauma. They are like a continuation of Christianity. But I've heard some theories that they might have been started as a fight back against the Christians that kept coming in and attacking the Middle East. So they had to build this thing to give them strength. So, but stark difference to that. If you look in the East, you have Buddhism. Now, Buddhism started within Hinduism. So he's Hindu, kind of like Jesus in Christianity. Jesus is Jewish, becomes Christian, whatever. Buddha is Hindu. He's like a Hindu prince. Invents Buddhism. In India, they don't like it because they love the caste system, the upper class. They don't like it. Buddhism goes to China, basically. China already has Taoism. Now, unlike, how we assume religions meet, when Buddhism met Taoism, they came to each other and they said, hey, we believe in this loving kindness energy. It's the Tao. It flows in all of us. And the Buddha, so that's what the Tao tells the Buddhist. The Buddhist says, wow, that's incredible. We actually believe the same thing. We just call our Tao this and we call this, but very similar. And then we also have this. And then the Tao said, oh my God, that's amazing. It is a bloodless meeting of religions. And actually, that's where Zen came from. So Zen practice is very much influenced by both. And they call it, first they call it Dzogchen in China.
Yeah.
It actually becomes Dhyan and then becomes Dzogchen, which is in Japan, it becomes Zen. But the teachings are there. And every religion has them, though. The Sufis are very much connected to that. They have a very similar teaching. Sufis do Christ consciousness, Kabbalah, I think. And then in Egypt, they have like another Hermetic principles that are very close to that too. And they're all like trying to teach. They're all basically teaching us that this life is like some kind of a loving kindness video game where there's like an infinite love at the top. That's what we really are. Then we jump into an ego to come play this game. And the whole game is you forget that you're loved so that you can say, oh, I'm loved. Like it's like the constant remembering. That's the game. And actually, in a way, the people that are going into the military and fighting and getting caught up in pure hatred, that's because God's a freak. And God's saying, I wonder what it would be like if I need this simulation to be so tight, like to be so wild that like there needs to be a Hitler in it. Like I need to go to that level because I want to go to that level of hatred and realize that like I'm God again, because it's that realization that is almost like the joy of it all or whatever. But
that's why little Babaji, Amish. That is why.
That is why. And I think that's a wrap. That's a wrap, dude. I gotta come back live tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm gonna do the dating one. I want to talk about this guy Tom Torero who got canceled, and then I think he killed himself. But he's like a pickup artist. I feel bad because they're so aggressive on these guys. This guy was so nice. He was a sweet guy, and they just Newsweek article got him, and then I think he like killed himself. It was like 2 weeks ago. He committed suicide. I know, he was so sweet, man. He was like the kind of guy that, you know, his teachings. He'd just be like his teachings were like, all right, Sanjay, all right, you're a good guy, you're a good bloke, you're a catch. Now go over to that bird, look her in the eye, and say, excuse me, if you have a moment, I just want to say you're absolutely smashing, and I'd like to have a chat. And dude, he's doing this, and these other Newsweek people with cameras like, excuse me, you're picking up girls. You're not allowed to pick up. Like they're coming in with other cameras to rip him. It's so sad. And then I guess he committed suicide. But that's what his teachings were basically. He was just like, they really got to stop calling it pickup artist and call it like men's dating coach or something. Because I feel like men's dating coach, you just do whatever the hell you want. This guy just, man, they really, yeah. But tomorrow is our dating episode though. Tomorrow, I do want to talk about dating scams. I'll ask Elaine if she wants to come, but I might get my friend in Toronto, Angelica. She's a comedian too, and she's a freak. So hot and only dates like 50, 60-year-olds. Crazy, I know.
She knows what she wants.
She knows what she wants, dude. From the day I met her, I'll just be out somewhere and I'll just see her with like just so in love, holding hands, and I'm like, yo, this guy's just great, like just old man, and he's just the happiest guy in the world. That's Angelica, man. She's into that. She loves it. You know what I'm saying? She loves it. Yeah. So I think we're gonna get her on tomorrow, if not next week. But tomorrow I'm gonna be talking about all dating scams, and then I'll probably talk about that guy getting canceled because, yeah, I feel bad for the guy. He seems like such a nice guy. But Ed, thanks for coming on. Thanks for chatting, guys. I appreciate you.
Definitely.
Always.
Yeah, man,
do this again sometime.
Applejack, nice to meet you finally. And Hohenheim, good to see you, man. You are thriving. You're looking actually. I didn't recognize you at first, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my hair is a lot different. I had the same.
Yeah, dude,
hair,
you did a full straight eye
year.
for the gay guy. No, queer eye for the straight guy. You queer eye for the straight guy yourself. No, this guy was. You were honestly last year. You were pretty silly. You were like a different character almost. This is like a big improvement, man. You look great.
You know, but last year though too, I was in a really bad relationship. It was physically abusive.
Oh my god.
Yeah, emotionally and physically abusive.
Sorry
it
to
was
hear that.
really hard to be myself without being beat up on, man. Like any step out of line for what she wanted, and I had to get my ass whooped, man. It was
Oh
great.
my god, I'm so sorry, dude. Yo, you
You
gotta
know,
come on the show tomorrow if you have time.
I'm better now. I was gonna say, so this is the thing, Amish. If you want me to, so I'm a sex addict. I've been in recovery now since 2018, so about 4 years.
Nice.
6 kids. I've probably honestly had over 120 fucking relationships in my life. If you want someone to talk about dating advice and shit, man, like
wow, this is a sex addict with receipts. I got 6 kids.
It's a reality. You know,
I
like,
love
this is
fucking
the
so
thing.
much. I can afford these kids. I got 6.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Like it's the truth. But like this thing, you know, I mean,
is it like 6 because like you're such a sex addict that you're like, there's just been 6 like, there's been like 3 of the 6 occasions are just like, baby, get a condom. Nah, fuck the condom, man. Let's just
fuck the condom. No, man. You know this. So 5 of my children are from my first marriage, and then 1 of them is from after the marriage. So no, that's not the case. I mean, I'm a hoe. I'm just not that kind of hoe.
That's great. I mean, that's great that you got 6 kids. That's very prosperous of you, brother. That's great. That's a real blessing, dude. Those kids are gonna take care of you when you're old. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, right. And like I have like a 1 in 6 chance of at least one of them loving me enough.
Yeah, you know, you can't miss now.
Yeah, dude. I never believed in like marriage and kids until my dad was dying in the hospital, and we would all go to see him, and I'm like, this is why you need kids. They're trying to sell me on love and shit. I don't give a fuck about love. When you get old, dude, and be by yourself, you're fucked, man. You need the kids there to love you.
It's like
And
the only way
daughters,
to
too.
not
Sons are okay, but daughters are there. They're like with you. The hospital's full of daughters. Just
Damn, I gotta get a daughter then. I only have a son.
yeah.
If I
have the extra loving kindness.
If I had more daughters, I'd sell you one, Adam. But you know. Real quick though, before we got off here, I just wanted to address. So Trillian McMillan had said that to not get caught up in the specifics of it, like it was infuriating to me about the whole Buddhism and Taoism thing, for the simple fact that like as spiritual as I am, I still want to. You want to be fucking right. You know what I mean? So I just can't imagine how stupid I would have sounded if I had been speaking to a Buddhist who knew it from an Eastern background as opposed to me who learned it from a Western background. How ignorant I must have sounded. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things where it's infuriating because it's not that so much that I want to be right, so much as I want to have the information, the correct information. You know what I mean? It's not an ego thing like I want to be right, but more so like I want to be working from a place of common ground, and you can't do that if you misunderstand something.
Right.
Okay, yeah. I mean, listen, you know the other thing about those teachings is that they're much less dogmatic and much less like about following a strict book. Like
Which is
Taoism is about like loving the moment.
Yeah.
You know, so and it's full of these like weird, like they have contradictions too, but they have contradictions where it's like these Zen masters, like someone asks them a question and then they just do a joke. Because they're just like, no, this life is meaningless. You're trying too hard. Like that's the kind of mentality they have.
Yeah,
they're not even so. Any Zen or Buddhist or Taoist who says you didn't even know the facts, like that, it goes against their teaching. Sufi too. They would never do that. They would always come to a place of like, what is the emotional place you need to get to? What is the heart-centered kind of way of thinking about it? So yeah, no, don't worry about it too much, man. It's more about inspiring you and being joyful in the moment than it is about like. I got this brighter, you know? Yeah,
you know, I also have this sort of self-examination thing where, you know, you're only going to be as hard on other people as you are on yourself. And so if I'm going to be hard on other people, I have a responsibility to do the same thing with myself. I hold myself to high standards. You know what I mean? If I expect other people to have right information, I want to have the same information. You know?
That's respect, though. That's respectful because most people, it's a tunnel vision. They see what they know and what they know is correct. You can't tell them otherwise.
And the world is just, the universe is too wide for a narrow perspective.
Right.
No one is ever right. Like that is one of those things they teach a lot over there, that like they have so much poems like that. They're like, this person's right in the morning and then they're wrong in the afternoon. Like it's never, it always like it's almost like the more sure you are of something, the more it's just going to disappear one day, or it's just not going to be that anymore, you know?
Yeah.
It's weird. But yo, let's call it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Definitely.
Been great guests. Come back tomorrow. Would love to talk about this on that love drip tomorrow. So yeah, I already know what I'm talking about tomorrow. Still got to figure out Thursday, Friday. Hit me up on Instagram, everyone. Send me some topic ideas. Would love to, even if you want to send me topic, honestly, the best is probably reaction videos. So if you have some banger reaction videos, you can put them up. I'll just play and pause, talk shit over them, read your comments. I think that could make some good episodes. And let's try this daily thing. Daily ribs, baby. Thanks everyone for coming.
Yeah, I'll be in tomorrow.
Yeah, man. Thanks, dude. And and to everyone in the audience too, like don't get too caught up in the negativity. Don't get too caught up in the fighting. You know what I'm saying? Be a beacon of that loving kindness that can maybe bring people together and get them talking, you know?
Yeah. Oh my God, I just read this. I'm sorry. Drip, rip, and dip. That's it. Subscribe and like unless you love the scammers. I love that.
Yeah. I think he types that almost every drip episode. I've seen that near the end almost every time.
I love that.
No, it's been scrolling the whole time. It's always there.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, man.
And Mish, just piggybacking off of what you said. So earlier we had talked about how our perspective, sort of about how when you go towards negative things, that's what tends to pop up in your life, and positive. So as a filmmaker, it was incredibly frustrating that one of the most memorable lines I had ever heard was written by J.J. Abrams. But it's that the way you feel determines how you interpret the world. And so just from that basis, if you feel good, man, you're going to see the good thing. If you feel negative, you're going to feel. So like as the congregation, we should be focusing on love, even if it's just right here in the 26,000 people watching right now.
Yeah, man.
You know,
100%. You know, that is so true. Like how you feel determines how you see the world. Now that you said that, I do have to show my other teaching slide. Now that you mentioned it, I have to show you the teaching slide.
Before you go on the slide, I do have a little brown to pick with all the religions on your last slide. I didn't see anything about paganism or Wicca.
Oh no,
or
I
anything
think
like
I
that.
think paganism was. Yeah, no, they got killed up by the Christians, didn't they? No, I think they have Gnosticism. Is paganism part of Gnosticism?
Paganism is the belief that, well, a lot of people say that it just means a country dweller, but paganism is more of you're an average person learning of multiple gods. Like the way they like to say it is every Wiccan is a pagan, but not every pagan is a Wiccan, because Wiccans are teachers, whereas pagans are the learners.
Sick. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I gotta look into paganism. I always thought paganism was similar to Taoism, actually, from what I can tell, but I don't know. I gotta look into it more.
And
but,
this is what's interesting about. Oh, I was going to say, this is what's interesting about perspective is that I've always had the impression that paganism is basically just like Hinduism, in the sense that no matter what pagan god you were subscribed to, they're all have some sort of mythical understanding, right? Like,
they seem to be metaphors of nature, right? So it is almost like a religion that teaches you to honor nature and to honor like.
Yeah, that's how I've always
masculine, feminine energy, and then nature, and I feel like that's very similar to Shintoism too.
Yeah. In the sense that I was just going to bring up. God damn, man, I keep bringing this. I'm so sorry, Amish. I know you're trying to get that off here.
No, you were saying though that how you feel determines how you see the world. This is what I was saying before too about like when you like the worse you feel, the less of the world you almost have access to. So when you're in a really dark place, you only see, your vision is this much. And this is like a funnel that's made by this American, he is a scientist, David Hawkins. And this is very interesting. You could say that the teachings of all these heart-centered approaches to spirituality, their teachings are ultimately to rise up towards, like, the purpose of life is to keep rising up. And the way to rise up is to take on challenges that give you that lift kind of thing as you overcome them. Yeah. So yeah, man. But thanks for coming, guys.
Definitely.
I gotta call it. We're gonna rip again tomorrow.
Absolutely. I can dig it in.
We're gonna set up the schedule this week too. I gotta figure out like maybe consistent times like to go to stream and stuff. But yeah, it's gonna be great, man. Daily rips. This is gonna be awesome. Thanks guys for coming.
Whenever you're up tomorrow, hit me up on Discord. Just let me know rough time about when you guys are going to be going. I mean, I get notifications from the drip anyways, but just in case.
Yeah, I got my notifications on.
Yeah, you're not an IG on your drip. Oh, so you guys have notifications on the Discord, eh?
I have it on YouTube, but I also have your IG.
Yeah. Hit me up on IG. IG is the easiest. Discord, I don't go in there really.
My name CEB Applejack.
Sick. Okay, cool. Well, thanks to everyone for watching. You are loved. Loving kindness, all that stuff. God is great, and we'll see you tomorrow. Drip, drip, rip, and dip. That's it, baby.
Drip, rip, and dip.